When the islands of Indonesia come alive at night, when the skies are thick with stars and shadows play tricks on the eye, ancient voices seem to rise from the earth, the trees, and the sea. In the dim light, these voices whisper stories about beings older than memory, creatures woven into the very fabric of the land. These are no ordinary stories, but living tales shaped by the countless hearts and hands of those who came before, stories guarded by mountains, carried by rivers, and known by the firesides of countless villages. Indonesia's mythology is a mosaic of souls, a collection of beliefs as vast and varied as its lush archipelago. Indonesia is a country of over 17,000 islands, each with its own spirit, each with people who carry their own stories and beliefs. From the shadowed jungles of Sumatra to the quiet shores of Bali, each island has its myths, creatures that swim in its rivers, spirits that guard its mountains, and beings that walk its dense forests. For generations, these myths have given meaning to life, explaining the unexplainable, answering the questions that humans have asked since time began. Why does the sea rage? Why do the mountains shake? Who guards the villages in the dead of night? In the beating heart of these stories, ancient religions have taken root, woven tightly together with local beliefs. Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam made their way to Indonesia over hundreds of years, not erasing the native spirits and gods, but mixing with them in the most astonishing ways. The Hindu stories of gods and demons found in Bali didn't just stay on the island's shores, they touched the hearts of all who listened. The Buddhist tales of compassion and rebirth grew into the spirit of kindness and humility. Islam spread across the islands and brought with it stories of jinn, angels, and protective spirits, blending seamlessly with the existing spirits of the forests and seas. Instead of replacing the ancient spirits of the land, these religions became part of them, sharing space in the hearts of the people. In Bali, the Hindu gods are worshipped alongside spirits known only to the Balinese. Every household keeps a shrine for Nyi Roro Kidul, the queen of the southern sea, a powerful spirit who both protects and demands respect. She is feared and revered, and it's said that those who disrespect her waters risk her wrath. And yet, she is gentle to those who honor her. She guards the Javanese coast, her presence felt in the crashing waves and the cool spray of salt water. Children are told to bow before the sea, to whisper their greetings and thanks, because Nyi Roro Kidul is listening. She is fierce, she is kind, and she holds the respect of her people. Then there's the Garuda, a mythical bird with the strength of 100 eagles and the wisdom of the gods. Garuda is a symbol of power, but he is also the protector of all that is good, and the enemy of all that threatens his land. In Java, people tell of Garuda's heroic battles, his unyielding spirit, and his loyalty to the god Vishnu. His wings, wide as a storm, are said to cause thunder, and his feathers are like daggers that keep evil away. To the people, Garuda isn't just a bird, he is a reminder that courage is never silent, that true strength is fierce and noble. But Indonesia's myths are not just about gods and protectors. Some beings are darker, shadows that haunt the quiet places, watching from the corner of your eye. The Sundel Bolong, a woman with a hole through her back, is one such spirit. Betrayed in life, she is a ghost in death, forever wandering, searching, longing. Mothers tell their children about her, warn them to be kind and to keep their promises, for a broken heart can create monsters. The Sundel Bolong, with her empty eyes and hollow laughter, is a reminder of the sorrows that can twist a spirit into something terrifying, the pain that lives on even beyond death. Indonesia's mythical creatures are not just beings, they are symbols, stories, and silent teachers. The Genderuwo, a hairy forest giant, is both feared and respected by those who wander too close to his forests. He is known to be mischievous, hiding things or scaring travelers who lose their way. But Genderuwo also guards the land, like a father watching over his children. If you respect his forests, he respects you, for he is as much a part of the jungle as the trees and the rivers. In him, there is a reminder of nature's might, the need to tread lightly, to respect what we cannot understand. These creatures serve another purpose too. They watch over the spaces where humans dare not go, the shadowed forests, the dark corners, the restless waters. The people of Sulawesi tell of the Dano-Dano, spirits of the departed who live by the graves and watch over the dead. They are feared, yes, but they are also protectors, reminders that even in death, there is duty and care. The graves are sacred, places to be respected, and the Dano makes sure that no one disturbs the peace of the departed. It is said that mythical creatures live close to the people, moving silently among them, listening, guiding, guarding. In the cities and villages, the legends of the Pocong linger. Wrapped in a funeral shroud, the Pocong is a spirit that seeks release, a soul not yet at peace. The sight of a Pocong sends shivers down the spine, a chilling reminder of the life beyond life, of souls who linger, who search for closure. There is sorrow in their haunting, a sadness that touches the hearts of those who believe. In Indonesia, to speak of mythical creatures is to speak of one's own heritage, to honor the ancestors, to give voice to the spirits who have long kept watch. The tales are passed down from generation to generation, with every story holding a piece of history, every creature a reflection of human fears and dreams. Myths don't die here, they are kept alive, honored, protected. And the creatures that haunt these stories, whether kind or vengeful, gentle or fierce, are much more than figments of the imagination. They are pieces of the soul of Indonesia, a voice that rises like the mountains, as constant and enduring as the seas. In this tapestry of spirits, Indonesia's myths are a living bond, a quiet conversation with the past, with those who have walked these islands long before. They are the voices of the ancient seas, the silent guardians of the forests, the memories in the mountains. And for every person who listens to these stories, there is a connection, a thread that ties them to the land, to the sea, to the spirits who have watched and waited, who know every whisper, every sigh. Across Indonesia's vast, breathtaking archipelago, every island holds its own story, shaped by the land, the sea, and the spirit of its people. From the towering volcanoes of Java to the dense forests of Sumatra, from Bali's sacred mountains to Papua's misty highlands, each place breathes with a unique rhythm. And these landscapes, so different from each other, cradle myths as old as the earth. Myths that aren't just tales but memories whispered by mountains, sung by rivers, and heard in the quiet of ancient trees. In these places, geography itself is a storyteller, shaping creatures, spirits, and beings who live close to the land and sky, reflecting the nature around them. On the island of Sumatra, thick rainforests stretch out like an endless, green ocean. The forest is dense, mysterious, filled with the scent of earth and life. Here, the myths are like the jungle itself, wild, untamed, and hiding secrets in every shadow. Deep in the heart of these jungles, people tell stories of the Orang Bunyan, a race of hidden people who live among the trees. They are invisible, yet their presence is felt. The Orang Bunyan watch the living world from the safety of the forest, curious, sometimes mischievous, always there. It is said they live in hidden villages, their homes made of the forest's own breath and light. The people who venture too far into Sumatra's forests speak of strange sounds, of the soft laughter of unseen children. For them, the Orang Bunyan are a reminder that the forest holds more than just animals and trees, it holds spirits, beings who belong to the wilderness itself. Java, an island carved by volcanoes, speaks a language of fire and ash. Its volcanoes are fierce, sometimes gentle, but always alive. People here understand the power of these mountains, the way they can both give and take life. In Java's myths, the volcanoes are guarded by spirits, beings like the mighty Eyang Genderuwo, who watches over the land from his mountain home. Genderuwo, a giant with a heart as wild as fire, is both feared and respected. Some say he has a laugh that echoes through the valleys, while others believe he can bless those who honor the mountains. In Java, children grow up hearing tales of spirits who live in the heart of the volcanoes, beings who are as much a part of the island as the fire beneath their feet. Here, nature isn't separate from life, it's the pulse that everyone feels, the force that every soul respects. Bali is known for its beauty, its tranquil beaches, and its sacred mountains. But Bali is also a place where myths flow as freely as the rivers. The Balinese people have a deep bond with their land, and they believe it's guarded by both gods and spirits. High up in the mountains, hidden in the mists, lives Barong, a creature that represents all that is good and pure. Barong, with his lion-like face and spirit of protection, is more than a myth, He is a guardian, a friend, a protector. The people of Bali dance for Barong, honoring him with rituals that fill the air with music and the scent of incense. And every time the mountains cast their shadows over the land, it's as though Barong himself watches over his people, keeping them safe, keeping their hearts strong. In Bali, myths are not separate from daily life. They are woven into the air, into the very mountains that stand tall and watchful. In Kalimantan, where the Borneo rainforest stretches endlessly, the air is thick and ancient. The trees here are giants, old and wise, standing like silent sentinels over the land. In these dense jungles, myths are as close as the roots beneath the ground, as real as the leaves that brush your skin. Kalimantan is home to the Dayak people, who believe in spirits that live in every part of the forest. Among these spirits is the Banaspati, a fire spirit that roams the jungles, feared for its burning touch. The Banaspati is said to glow in the darkness, a being of pure flame, guiding and warning those who dare to wander too far. It is both a protector and a warning, a reminder that in Kalimantan, the jungle is a world of its own, filled with spirits who demand respect, spirits who protect the forest with all the fierceness of the wild. Sulawesi, an island with twisted, rugged mountains and deep blue seas, has a different kind of spirit. Here, the people live close to both land and water, and their myths are shaped by both. Sulawesi is known for its stories of the sea, of creatures who live beneath the waves, of spirits who guard the shores. Among these myths is the tale of Ikan Datu, a water spirit who is both feared and loved. It's said that Ikan Datu can be seen when the ocean is calm, a figure who walks the shoreline, his eyes fixed on the horizon. The people believe he guards the coast, watching over those who fish and live by the sea. He is like the tide itself, gentle but powerful, a reminder that the ocean is alive, that it listens, that it remembers. The Maluku Islands are known for their beautiful beaches and crystal-clear waters, but they also hold stories of creatures who dwell in the depths. Here, the sea is both friend and mystery, and the people believe it is guarded by the Ikan Duyung, the mermaids of the Maluku seas. These creatures are not like the mermaids of other stories. They are fierce, beautiful, and wild. The Ikan Duyung are said to protect the waters, singing songs that can both lure and warn sailors. Those who hear their voices know that they are not alone on the sea, that there are eyes watching from beneath the waves. For the people of Maluku, the Ikan Duyung are reminders of the ocean's power, of the life that lies just below the surface, hidden yet always present. And then there is Papua, an island of mountains wrapped in mist, where the highlands are home to spirits as old as the stones themselves. The people here speak of the Kumaro, guardian spirits who live high in the mountains. These beings are believed to guide hunters, to help those who lose their way, and to guard the secrets of the land. The Kumaro are said to be as silent as the mist, as watchful as the mountains, a force that belongs to Papua's rugged, untouched landscape. To the Papuan people, the Kumaro are family, guardians who walk beside them, guiding them through the rough terrain, protecting them from harm. In these highlands, the line between the living and the spirit world is thin, almost invisible, and the Kumaro are reminders of a bond that will never break. Every island, every mountain, every river in Indonesia has its own heart, its own spirit. The people live close to the land, close to the creatures that walk beside them in shadow and light. Each place has its own stories, its own beings who protect and warn, who love and remember. And through these myths, through these spirits who dwell in forests, seas, and mountains, Indonesia's land speaks to its people, keeping them connected to the earth beneath their feet, the sky above their heads, and the world just beyond sight. When the people of Indonesia speak of mythical creatures, it isn't just about the creatures themselves. It's about what they mean, the messages they carry, the beliefs they hold close to their hearts. These creatures are symbols, figures woven into the very soul of the land, representing forces greater than any one person. They are stories with lessons, living reminders of courage, love, justice, and honor. Every creature embodies something deeper, a truth about life itself that moves in the hearts of all who listen, filling them with reverence, with awe, with a sense of purpose and morality. Good and evil live side by side in these stories, like shadows that fall across a forest floor. In Indonesia, the clash between good and evil is felt deeply. The people believe that every spirit, every creature, carries this struggle within, each embodying lessons of what it means to protect, to love, to respect, to fear. Barong, the lion-like creature of Bali, stands as a symbol of protection and goodness. His spirit watches over the land, a fierce but gentle guardian who fights to keep evil at bay. When people speak of Barong, they don't just talk about his fierce teeth or powerful presence. They talk about what he represents: hope, strength, the promise that goodness can and will triumph over any darkness. And yet, in the same breath, people whisper of Ramda, a dark figure who represents evil and chaos, a being who tests the spirit of every person she touches. She is powerful, she is terrifying, and she brings to life the fears that live in every heart. Ramda isn't simply a creature of malice, she embodies the shadow side of life, the side that must be faced, understood, overcome. Barong and Ramda are eternal foes, bound to clash, each carrying a piece of the other's story. This battle between them is as old as time, a story told through dances, ceremonies, rituals, where the people watch, transfixed, as good and evil meet, as hope and fear collide. The spirit of protection runs strong in Indonesian mythology, a theme that threads through tales and myths like a lifeline. Guardians appear in different forms, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, always vigilant. Garuda, the mythical bird of Java, is one such protector. With wings wide enough to cover the sky and eyes that miss nothing, Garuda is a symbol of loyalty and bravery. His tales are told in ancient poems, carved in temples, woven into the everyday lives of the people. When villagers pray, they ask for Garuda's strength, his courage, his vigilance. They tell stories of his fierce loyalty to the god Vishnu, his readiness to protect, no matter the cost. Garuda is more than just a bird, he is a reminder that loyalty is sacred, that to guard something precious is an honor beyond measure. Nature itself is a powerful force in Indonesian myths, a spirit that breathes life into every creature, every mountain, every river. The people see the world around them as alive, as sacred, and this reverence flows into the stories they tell. The Naga, a serpent creature found in many Indonesian myths, slithers through the earth and water, bridging the worlds of the living and the spirit. In Java, people believe that the Naga brings rain, that his scales carry the colors of the sky, the rivers, the fields. When the rain falls, when the rivers flow, they see the Naga's spirit at work, giving life to the land, blessing the crops, nourishing the people. The Naga isn't just a creature, he is the very force of nature, powerful, giving, a reminder that life itself is a gift, a sacred bond that must be honored. Many of these creatures are guides, silent teachers who walk beside the people, reminding them of the importance of honor, respect, kindness, and humility. The Sundel Bolong, the ghostly woman with a hole in her back, is a warning wrapped in sorrow, a spirit who reminds people of the pain that broken promises and betrayal can cause. She roams the land, searching, watching, a shadow of sadness. Mothers tell their children about her, warn them of the price of cruelty, of the pain that can live beyond death. The Sundel Bolong isn't there to frighten, she is there to teach, to show that every action has a weight, that love and kindness are more powerful than anything. Art and ritual bring these creatures to life, honoring them, connecting the people to the spirits that move among them. In Bali, dancers wear the heavy, colorful mask of Barong, moving with the grace and power of the creature himself. The music swells, the incense rises, and it's as though Barong himself is there, his spirit alive in the beat of the drums, the sway of the dancers. Children watch with wide eyes, elders nod in silent respect, for they know they are not just watching a dance. They are honoring a promise, a bond that ties them to their land, to their ancestors, to the creatures who guard them, protect them, watch over them. In literature, these creatures live on, their stories written down, passed from hand to hand, from heart to heart. Poems sing of Garuda's loyalty, of the Naga's power, of Ramda's fierce presence. The Sundel Bolong haunts the pages of countless stories, her sad eyes watching from between the words, a quiet reminder of the weight of every choice, every love, every betrayal. Children read these stories, learn these lessons, carry them like treasures. The creatures are woven into every line, symbols of the values the people hold dear, reminders of the path each soul must walk. In ceremonies, these spirits come close, drawn by the sounds, the songs, the scents. Priests whisper prayers to Nyi Roro Kidul, the queen of the southern sea, offering flowers, rice, prayers of gratitude. They ask for her blessing, for her protection, for her to guard the seas and those who sail upon them. Nyi Roro Kidul is fierce but kind, a spirit who rules the waters with grace and strength. For the fishermen who set out at dawn, she is a protector, a mother, a goddess. They trust her, respect her, knowing she will keep them safe if they honor her, if they treat her waters with care. These mythical creatures aren't distant figures in Indonesian life. They are family, guardians, friends, and teachers. They watch over every child, every traveler, every farmer. They remind people of the beauty of courage, the power of love, the importance of honor. Through them, people learn to cherish what they have, to respect the world around them, to face life's shadows with strength. The creatures are more than just myths. They are symbols of the values that shape the soul of Indonesia, values that move in every heart, that guide every hand, that fill every story with a meaning that lasts beyond time. Under the quiet light of a crescent moon, by the warmth of a fading fire, they sit in circles, the young, the old, and those in between, all waiting with bated breath. The air hums with a sacred silence as an elder begins to speak, their voice carrying stories as ancient as the land itself. Shamans, storytellers, and elders have guarded these tales, holding them close like precious gems. They carry not just stories, but memories of lives that came before, echoes of spirits who linger still, a pulse that beats beneath every word they share. These shamans and storytellers are like bridges between worlds, their voices filled with a wisdom that touches both the seen and unseen. The shaman, wrapped in robes adorned with feathers, beads, and charms, speaks with a voice that is both gentle and strong. The spirits are close to them, lingering in the rustle of leaves, the call of birds, the whisper of the wind. The shaman knows the world beyond sight, where creatures from legend still roam, where the spirits of ancestors sit beside them, watching, guiding. And when the shaman speaks, it is as though the spirits themselves are speaking, sharing secrets they want remembered, tales they want honored. In every story told by a shaman, there is power, words woven with magic, each one chosen carefully, each one carrying the weight of ages. When they speak of Ramda, the dark spirit of chaos and mischief, it isn't just a tale of fear. It's a warning, a reminder of the consequences of dishonor, the dangers of ignoring the spirit's guidance. Ramda isn't only a figure of fear, she is a teacher, showing those who listen that life is woven with choices and that each choice has a shadow that follows. Then there are the elders, the grandmothers and grandfathers who have walked the land longer than many can remember. They speak of Barong, the great protector, the one who brings peace and strength. With each word, they honor him, remind the young that Barong's spirit still watches, still cares for the people. They speak of the times they felt Barong's presence, moments when danger was near but somehow, they felt safe, wrapped in an unseen protection. The younger ones listen, their eyes wide, their hearts full, knowing that Barong's strength lives not just in stories, but in the very land beneath them. In villages across Indonesia, the role of the shaman, the storyteller, and the elder is more than just to entertain or pass the time. They are the guardians, the keepers of a bond that stretches back through the centuries, tying each generation to the spirits, the land, and each other. They tell the stories not just with words, but with every part of their being, their gestures, their eyes, the pauses between sentences where memories linger, held in a moment of silence. Each story they tell is like a gift, a piece of themselves offered up to the world, a reminder of what it means to be human, to live in harmony with the earth, with the creatures who dwell within it. Oral traditions hold a beauty all their own, a living, breathing essence that changes with each telling, each retelling. A story told by one elder may sound different when told by another, yet the heart of it remains. The spirit of the tale moves with the teller, shaping itself to the voice, the gestures, the life of the one who speaks. And in this way, stories take on a life of their own, alive in the breath of those who share them. When a shaman speaks of the Naga, the serpent spirit of water, it is as if the Naga itself moves through their voice, winding through the air, filling the listeners with awe, with reverence for the forces that shape their lives. The story is never quite the same, for it is shaped by the place, the time, the people who listen. This is the beauty of oral tradition. It flows like a river, carrying pieces of every soul who tells it, always changing, yet forever the same. In contrast, written words hold stories in a different way, solid and lasting, carved into paper, set down for future generations to see. But written stories are different, like pictures frozen in time. While they capture details, they lose the breath, the rhythm of a voice, the subtle gestures that bring a story alive. Still, these written records are treasured, for they preserve the stories in a way that won't fade, won't change with time. They hold the tales of the Rangda, the Barong, the Naga, giving a glimpse of the past, a way for those who come later to know the myths that shaped the lives of their ancestors. Storytellers are artists, weaving tales with every word, every pause. They draw in their audience, painting pictures not with colors, but with sounds, with rhythms that linger in the heart. Children sit, wide-eyed, as an elder tells of the Kumaro, the guardian spirits of the mountains, beings who walk unseen but are always near, watching, protecting. The storyteller's voice is soft, as if the Kumaro themselves are listening, as if they are close enough to hear, to feel, to remember. And in that moment, the children understand, they are not alone. They are part of something greater, a world rich with life and mystery, filled with beings who love, protect, and guide. The storyteller's voice is a thread that ties each generation to the next, a way of remembering, of honoring. With each telling, the spirits live on, the creatures come alive, the past breathes. And as the shaman speaks, as the elder shares, each listener becomes a part of the story, a piece of the history, bound forever to the spirits, to the land, to each other. The tales are not just stories, they are promises, connections that remind each person of who they are, where they come from, and what they carry. In the quiet hours, under starlit skies or around warm fires, these stories find their way into the hearts of the young, giving them a strength, a courage, a connection that lives on. The shaman's voice fades, the elder's words quiet, but the stories remain, whispered in the wind, held in the trees, remembered by all who hear. And in that remembering, the spirits live on, the creatures walk once more, and the bond between the people and the land, between life and spirit, remains unbroken. On nights when the wind whispers through the trees, carrying strange sounds and shadows, parents in Java tell their children of the Wiwi Gambal, a spirit who walks in darkness, eyes hollow, her heart filled with sorrow. She was once a woman wronged, someone who loved too deeply and lost everything she held dear. Now, she roams the silent villages, her presence a warning and a mystery, haunting the night with her chilling lullabies. Her legend reaches deep into Javanese culture, filling it with both fear and a strange tenderness, a reminder of love, loss, and the shadows that cling to our world. They say the Wiwi Gambal seeks out children who wander too far, those who feel forgotten or unloved. She watches over them, drawn by a sadness and loneliness she knows too well. In stories, her form is both terrifying and sad, a twisted figure with wide, mournful eyes, arms stretched out as if reaching for something she can never hold. Children feel her presence most, an instinctive shiver down the spine, a sense that they're being watched when they stray too close to the forest at dusk. They speak of her voice, soft and low, calling out, lulling them into a trance, drawing them away from the warmth of home and into the stillness of the trees. But the Wiwi Gambal isn't just a tale meant to frighten. She is a figure of tragic strength and of love turned dark by suffering. Her story reaches back into old Javanese myths, where she was once a woman who longed for children of her own. But fate was cruel, and after losing her family, she was cast out, ridiculed, and left to wander in grief. Her heart filled with bitterness, her spirit twisted by sorrow, and she became something no longer fully human, a shadow of what she once was. In her endless grief, she found solace in the company of lonely children, becoming their strange protector, their shadowed guardian, a mother of the night. Villagers say she doesn't harm the children she takes, but holds them close, hidden from sight, in a place only she knows. She keeps them safe, watches over them in the quiet dark, away from the pain and hardships they feel at home. And in her own way, she comforts them, whispering promises of safety and warmth. To the children, she is a strange, ghostly mother, with arms that feel like memories of home, a place where they feel seen and wanted, even if just for a fleeting moment. When they return to their families, they don't remember where they've been, only the vague, dreamlike feeling of a presence that was both haunting and gentle. Parents speak of the Wiwi Gambul with fear, but also with respect. For many, her legend serves as a caution, a reminder of the importance of love and care. They tell their children to stay close, to not wander off, to feel the love that surrounds them. In Javanese culture, her story isn't only a tale of terror, but also a story of the sadness and consequences that can come when love is forgotten, when people are left behind. In some way, she is a reminder to parents to look after their children, to not let them feel alone, to keep them close, lest the Wiwi Gambul feel their sadness and reach out to bring them into her shadowed world. In every telling of her story, the emotions she stirs are complex. Children are frightened, but they also feel a strange sympathy, a sadness that touches something gentle in their hearts. They sense the sorrow in her eyes, a pain they don't fully understand, but that fills them with an ache, a question about who she is and why she longs for them so much. And the elders, when they speak of her, feel the weight of her loss, the sadness of a spirit who was once like them, who loved and suffered, who became something otherworldly in her pain. They tell of the Wiwi Gambul with heavy voices, with words tinged by an understanding that life can turn dark, that love can turn cold. In villages across Java, her presence is felt even today, a shadow at the edge of every family gathering, a figure whose story lingers in the air. People leave offerings for her, small gifts and whispered prayers, hoping to keep her at peace, to honor her sorrow, to ease her endless vigil. Some offer toys, sweets, small items they hope might bring her comfort or keep her far from their children. These offerings are a quiet acknowledgement of her story, a gesture of respect for the spirit she has become, a figure who has found a place within the lives of those she haunts, and while her tale may inspire fear, it also holds lessons that have endured through generations. The Wiwi Gambul reminds them all of the need to cherish those they love, to see and hold close the ones who feel lost, who feel unnoticed. For the parents, her legend is a call to be watchful, to be mindful of their children's happiness, to be present in their lives. Her story is as much a message as it is a myth, a warning wrapped in love, sorrow, and the ache of someone who has wandered too long in the dark. So when the children listen to the story of the Wiwi Gambul, they hold their breath, clinging to the warmth of their families. They think of her sad, ghostly figure in the shadows, her arms outstretched, searching for the love she lost. And somewhere in their hearts, they understand, she isn't just a spirit to fear, but a symbol of longing, of love that never fades, even when the world turns dark. Beneath the towering trees of Java's oldest forests, and the shadows where sunlight barely touches, the Ayang Genderuwo dwell. They are giants, towering, thickly covered in wild, dark hair, with eyes that glow like embers deep in the night. Legends say they are the spirits of the forest, ancient guardians with faces both wise and frightening. Their immense forms blend into the tangled roots and twisted branches, so that even in daylight, they are barely seen, more felt than visible. People say that when you hear a rustling in the woods, a low whisper just behind you, it's the Ayang Genderuwo, watching, waiting, always nearby. Their presence is one of mystery, a reminder that the forest is not just a place of life and growth, but also a place of old spirits, beings who have seen centuries pass. While many fear them, the villagers of Java have a deep respect for these shadowy figures, understanding that the Genderuwo walk in the same spaces they do, sharing the land, the trees, the rivers. Some describe them as protectors, spirits who look after the land and sometimes even those who find themselves lost. But others speak of their mischievousness, of tricks and strange occurrences that no one can explain. It is said that they love to play pranks, to hide small items, to tug at clothes, to make strange noises in the dark. There is something almost childlike in their mischief, yet no one forgets that they are beings of immense power, with tempers as wild as the forests they inhabit. For some, the Genderuwo are protectors. Villagers tell of times when they were stranded, lost in the dense jungle, and felt a strange presence guiding them back. They speak of footsteps that followed them in the night, steady and sure, leading them to safety. They say that while fear fills the heart in those moments, there is also a warmth, a sense that these beings are watching over them, that they mean no harm. The Genderuwo understand the forest like no one else, for it is their home, their sanctuary. They know every hidden path, every trickling stream, every tree older than time itself. And so, when they choose to guide someone, it is like the forest itself reaching out, pulling the lost soul back to safety. But these protective spirits are not to be taken lightly. It is said that those who disrespect the forest or its creatures will not be looked upon kindly by the Genderuwo. They are guardians, and they do not forgive easily. Stories abound of people who entered the woods with arrogance, cutting trees carelessly, hunting animals thoughtlessly, and who returned with tales of terrifying encounters. Some say they saw towering figures, half hidden in the mist, watching them with eyes that shone with anger. Others tell of strange, heavy footsteps following them, a warning that they had crossed the line. And for some, it wasn't just footsteps. They felt unseen hands pushing them, branches tangling around their feet, making it clear that the Genderuwo were not pleased. Their pranks are something of legend in the villages, and people speak of them with both laughter and caution. They're known to call out names in voices that sound strangely familiar, leading people deeper into the forest, only to vanish when the person turns around. They hide tools, move belongings, and make eerie noises in the night, sometimes even causing the faintest shivers down the spine of those who cross their path. Children are warned not to linger near the edge of the forest after dusk, for that is when the Genderuwo are most active. They love to play, to tease, to remind people that they are there, hidden in the shadows, always watching. And while most of their tricks are harmless, the villagers know to respect the boundary, to honor the spirits and keep a respectful distance. Yet, for all their mischief, the Genderuwo have a softer side that only a few have seen. They are said to be fiercely loyal to those who show them kindness, those who live in harmony with the land. In rare moments, people tell of feeling a heavy hand on their shoulder, a comforting weight that seems to say, "I am here." Villagers who have lived near the forest for generations tell of a sense of safety, a feeling that they are never truly alone. They leave small offerings of food and flowers at the edge of the forest, tokens of gratitude and respect for these ancient beings, hoping to keep them pleased, to ensure their protection. And for those who offer these gifts, there is an unspoken bond, a promise that the Genderuwo will watch over them, that they will remain safe in the shadow of these towering guardians. There are even tales of the Genderuwo's strange compassion, their unexpected acts of kindness. It is said that children who wander too far from home sometimes find themselves led back by a shadowy figure, a gentle presence guiding them with a patience only the forest spirits could know. They may be mischievous, but they are also, in their own way, protectors, spirits of the land who look after the vulnerable, the young, the lost. And in those moments, the Genderuwo become more than just mysterious forest spirits. They are family, old souls who care for those who respect them, who honor the forest and its life. Villagers tell these stories with reverence, with a respect that borders on awe. The Genderuwo are a reminder that the world is filled with powers beyond our understanding, that the land holds secrets that we may never fully know. When the villagers speak of these beings, their voices soften, their eyes grow wide, as if they are recalling something precious, something sacred. The Genderuwo are not just spirits, they are a part of life, as much a part of Java as the mountains, the rivers, the ancient trees. And at every rustling leaf, every shadow that flickers in the corner of the eye, the people feel their presence, a reminder that the forest is alive, that it remembers, that it cares for its own. And so, the legend of the Ayang Genderuwo endures, passed down from generation to generation, held close by those who live under the watchful eyes of these spirits. They are feared, yes, but they are also respected, loved, and honored, a living connection to the heart of the forest, to the soul of Java. The people know that the Genderuwo are not to be taken lightly, for they are powerful, ancient beings with a wisdom and strength that stretches beyond human understanding. And in that knowledge, there is both comfort and awe, a sense that in the vastness of the forest, in the quiet of the night, they are never truly alone. Under the glow of the moon, when the island of Bali falls into an eerie quiet, whispers of the leek spread through villages like a shiver through the night. The leak isn't just a story, it's a warning, a reminder of forces that stir beneath the surface, of powers that wander where the light doesn't reach. In Balinese lore, the leak is a figure feared and respected, a shape-shifting witch who practices the art of dark magic. Her presence is both captivating and terrifying, for she embodies the forbidden, the unknown, the side of life shrouded in shadows. The leak is a creature of transformation, a being who bends her form to fit her will. They say that at night, she shifts from her human guise into forms that defy nature itself, an owl with burning eyes, a snake coiled and hissing, a head floating free from its body, trailing organs that glisten in the dim light. It's said that the leak appears first as a shadow on the edge of your vision, a feeling that you're being watched by something that knows no kindness. She is the dark spirit of the island's night, someone who can slip through walls, who listens to secrets hidden in the quiet of sleeping homes. As a practitioner of witchcraft, the leak's powers are legendary. She can curse, heal, and control, her influence stretching into the lives of those who unknowingly cross her path. Balinese mythology tells of her eerie, potent magic, powers drawn from the depths of hidden knowledge. Her spells are rumored to be so strong that they can twist fate, alter lives, even bring a person to the edge of life and death. But her powers come at a great cost, for the leak is both feared and shunned. Those who seek her skills risk becoming entangled in the dark threads of her magic, a place where desires become dangerous and wishes can take forms they did not intend. In Bali's village dances, the leak is brought to life, her character weaving through ritual movements, each step heavy with meaning. The dancers, with their eyes wide and piercing, embody her spirit, moving with precision and intensity. The leak's dance is not just a performance, it is a summoning, a ritual that pulls her spirit closer, a glimpse into her world. The makeup, the fierce gaze, the red-tinted teeth, all bring her character to life, casting a spell on those who watch. Balinese dancers train for years to portray the leak's fierce grace, each move a reflection of the balance between light and dark that she represents. In their sharp movements, the audience sees her, feels her, a spirit restless, unbound by life or death, forever lingering between. Those who witness the leak's portrayal in dance describe a feeling that stays with them long after the performance is over. The rhythm of the drums, the shadows cast by the firelight, the eerie, focused expressions of the dancers, it all blends into something otherworldly. People say that, in those moments, they can feel the leak watching them, just as she does on moonlit nights in the quiet village streets. It's as though she is present, drawn out of the shadows by the reverence of the dance, by the raw energy of the performers who channel her spirit. The leak is not simply feared, she is a reminder that in the world of the living, there are threads that connect to the unknown, that to be human is to exist alongside forces we cannot control. The leak isn't just a character of darkness, she is also a figure of wisdom. Balinese elders say she holds knowledge that others fear to learn, truths hidden beneath life's ordinary surface. Those who encounter her spirit sometimes leave with visions that speak of things to come, warnings and insights whispered from the shadows. But the knowledge she offers is never simple, never without its cost. The leak is a teacher of life's harshest lessons, a guide through the boundaries of light and shadow. Her gifts can lead people to clarity, or they can consume them. In Balinese culture, her legend holds a duality, a reminder that darkness and light coexist, that even the most terrifying spirits hold lessons for those willing to understand them. The leak's magic, as frightening as it is also a symbol of resilience, of power earned through sacrifice, of wisdom found in the deepest parts of the night. She is part of Bali's living spirit, a figure that transcends fear to become something greater, a being who reminds people of the complexity of life and the unseen truths woven into the fabric of existence. In the silence of the night, when villagers light incense and offer prayers, the leak lingers in their minds. She is a warning and a mystery, a figure who walks unseen paths, who watches from the edges of shadow. They say that the leak knows the hearts of those who fear her, that she moves quietly, unseen, touching lives in ways they may never fully know. And so, people light candles and offer small sacrifices, hoping to ward off her gaze, to keep her at peace. But even as they do, there is an understanding that she will always be there, a presence both feared and respected, woven into the spirit of Bali, into the rhythm of the land, the pulse of the island itself. In the silent hours of the night, a figure moves under the shadows of Java's quiet streets, her presence heavy with sorrow and the chill of betrayal. They say she wears a white dress, her hair long and black, falling like a shroud around her face. But it's not her appearance that makes the air turn cold. It's the dark, hollow emptiness that stretches across her back, a gaping wound, a hole so deep that it chills the soul of anyone who sees it. She is the Sundel Bolong, a ghost of vengeance, a spirit born of sorrow, forever searching, forever haunting, her hollow form a reminder of the pain that she carries. They say that the Sundel Bolong was once a woman betrayed, abandoned by those she trusted most. Her story speaks of deep pain, of promises broken, of innocence shattered. She walks with a silent fury, her empty gaze scanning the world around her as if seeking those who wronged her, as if her spirit cannot find peace until her pain is understood. Her presence feels like grief itself, settling over the village like a fog, pressing against those who sense her, filling the air with an ache that cannot be named. The villagers tell stories of encounters with her, of nights when laughter turns to silence, when joy fades, and an overwhelming sorrow seeps into the heart, making one feel as though they too carry a hole within. She is a reminder of the cruelty of betrayal, of the wounds that can tear through the soul as much as they do the body. Some say she was wronged by someone she loved, others say that she was an innocent woman cast aside by those who should have protected her. Her death was not peaceful, it was marked by anguish, leaving her spirit restless, her soul bound to the world by a need for justice that can never be fulfilled. This spirit is not just angry, she is deeply, endlessly sorrowful, and this sorrow seeps from her hollow back, reaching into the hearts of those who encounter her, drawing them into the cold, dark depths of her story. Villagers who've seen her say that she appears first as a beautiful woman, someone with a graceful, gentle presence. But as she turns, her face changes, revealing eyes that have known suffering, a mouth that speaks no words, yet tells a story of pain. And then there is the hole, that terrible wound where flesh should be whole. They say that the sight of it steals the warmth from your heart, that it leaves you frozen, haunted by a sorrow that is not your own. You feel as though you too have been betrayed, as though the pain she carries has somehow seeped into you. It is a sadness so deep that it feels eternal, as though it has no beginning and no end, a wound that can never heal. Parents warn their children not to wander out alone at night, for the Sundel Bolong is drawn to innocence, to those who remind her of the life she lost. Some say she appears to men who have wronged others, men who have betrayed their loved ones, her presence a reminder of the price of betrayal. And when she finds them, they are forever changed, haunted by her sorrow, unable to escape the weight of her suffering. They return with faces pale, hearts heavy, unable to shake the feeling that they have seen something they were never meant to see. In Javanese and Sundanese folklore, the Sundel Bolong is not just a ghost, she is a symbol of the pain that betrayal leaves behind, of the revenge that sorrow can bring. Her presence is a warning, a reminder that actions have consequences, that the wounds we inflict on others may return to haunt us. Her spirit lingers, forever bound to the earth by a pain that will not release her, a sorrow so great that it has left her hollow, empty, a shell of what she once was. And as she walks, she carries this emptiness with her, drawing others into her sadness, making them feel the betrayal that stole her life. They say that when the Sundel Bolong appears, she is not alone. The night itself seems to darken, the wind slows, and a silence falls, a silence that speaks of heartbreak and loneliness. Her very presence seems to reach into the soul, to stir memories of loss, of love that was not returned, of trust that was broken. She is the embodiment of all the pain that words cannot express, of all the hurt that remains long after the wounds have healed. She is sorrow personified, a haunting reminder that some wounds cut deeper than the skin, leaving scars that even time cannot erase. To this day, villagers speak of her with both fear and sadness, for they know that her spirit will never find peace. Her story is woven into the fabric of their lives, a tale passed down from generation to generation, a reminder of the suffering that comes from betrayal. The Sundel Bolong is not simply a ghost, she is the sorrow that lingers in every heart that has known loss, every soul that has felt the sting of abandonment. She is the shadow of the past, forever walking, forever searching, forever longing for a peace that can never be found. And in her hollow gaze, they see their own fears, their own sorrows, reflected back at them, a silent reminder of the pain that lingers long after love has gone. In the hushed stillness of the hospital's darkened halls, a faint, unsettling sound creeps into the air, a slow, dragging shuffle that sends chills down the spine of anyone who hears it. Nurses and patients alike whisper about it, their voices low and uneasy. It's the sound of the Suster Njesit, the spirit of a limping nurse whose presence haunts Indonesia's hospitals and abandoned places, leaving behind a trail of fear and sorrow wherever she goes. Suster Njesit is more than just an urban legend. She is a lingering pain, a memory frozen in the cold sterility of hospital corridors. Her story, passed down in frightened whispers, is that of a woman who met an untimely and cruel death, her spirit bound to the places where lives come to an end, where pain and despair hang thick in the air. Those who claim to have seen her say that she moves slowly, painfully dragging her broken body along the floors, her legs twisted and her face hidden beneath a white nurse's cap. The sight is one that stays with them, haunting their dreams and casting a shadow over every quiet moment alone. People say that she was once a young, compassionate nurse who dedicated her life to helping others, her heart as pure as her white uniform. But that same goodness made her vulnerable, and it is said that one dark night, a violent betrayal took her life. The details differ with each telling. Some say it was an act of jealousy, others that it was a twisted act of cruelty by someone she trusted. But all the stories agree that her death was one of unimaginable suffering, a pain that left her unable to find peace in the afterlife. And so, she lingers in the very place that took her life, her soul a constant reminder of the darkness that can hide even in places meant for healing. There are stories of patients who wake in the dead of night, only to see her shadow limping past their door. Those who have been brave, or unfortunate, enough to look say that her eyes are hollow, her face pale and devoid of life, as if all the kindness that once defined her has been replaced by sorrow and rage. Her gaze, they say, is one of unbearable grief, as though she is forever trapped in the last moments of her life, reliving the betrayal that condemned her spirit to wander. Those who meet her eyes often find themselves unable to shake the feeling of sadness that follows, as though her sorrow has somehow become their own, lingering like a weight upon their heart. Some staff members in hospitals speak of strange happenings in the early hours, lights flickering, doors creaking open without a breeze, the smell of antiseptic hanging heavy in the air even when no one is nearby. They say these are signs that Suster Njesit is near, that her presence is still woven into the walls of every hospital where she was ever sighted, every abandoned building that once echoed with the sound of life. She is a ghost who does not just appear, she lingers, her sorrow and pain soaking into the very structure of the places she haunts, as though her suffering has become part of the air itself. In some tales, those who encounter her up close describe a quiet whisper, a plea for help that chills the blood. They say that her voice is faint, almost like a breeze, but heavy with desperation. It's a sound that reaches into the soul, filling the listener with a sudden, overwhelming sadness. She is not a spirit that screams or wails, her haunting is quiet, like a wound that never stops bleeding, a suffering that cannot find relief. This quiet suffering, this loneliness, is what makes her so frightening, for it feels as though she is calling out not just for herself, but for all who have ever suffered alone. Others say that if you encounter her, you must not make eye contact, for her gaze can trap you, pulling you into the sorrow that binds her spirit. There are even legends that warn of her touch, that if she reaches out to you, her cold fingers brushing your skin, you will feel her pain, a sadness so profound that it seeps into your bones and leaves you haunted, as though a part of her has latched onto your soul, never letting go. Those who have felt it describe a weight, an unshakable feeling that they carry with them, a lingering sense of sadness that colors every happy moment with a shadow, a reminder of her silent suffering. Yet there are some who say that Suster Njesit is not entirely vengeful, that beneath her haunting lies a spirit in search of kindness, a soul who wishes for relief from her suffering. Some nurses have even said that they leave small offerings in quiet corners of the hospital, flowers, prayers, a whispered wish for peace. They say that on those nights, The hospital feels quieter, calmer, as though her spirit has been soothed, if only for a moment. But the peace never lasts, for her sorrow is too great, her pain too deep. She returns again and again, a reminder of the cruelty that can be found even in places meant for healing, a ghost bound by sorrow to the places that echo with the cries of the sick and the grieving. In the hospitals where she lingers, and the shadows of abandoned places where her spirit has been seen, her presence is a silent, chilling reminder of the fragility of life, of the pain that can bind a soul to this world long after the body is gone. Suster is more than a ghost. She is the embodiment of grief, of betrayal, of the quiet suffering that so often goes unseen, yet remains, haunting the places it once touched. And as long as there are darkened corridors and empty hospital rooms, as long as sorrow exists, her spirit will continue to walk, dragging her broken body along the silent halls, forever seeking peace that may never come. The waves on Java's southern coast crash with a force that feels alive, as though the ocean itself holds memories and emotions deeper than any human heart could hold. Locals look out over these waters with reverence, sensing a power beyond their understanding, a spirit that watches them from the rolling surf. Her name is spoken softly, with a mix of awe and caution, Nyi Roro Kidul, the Queen of the Southern Sea. To speak of her is to speak of mystery and legend, of a presence both protective and fierce, of a spirit whose very existence binds the Javanese people to the restless sea. They say that Nyi Roro Kidul is no mere legend, but a goddess whose beauty is matched only by the depth of her sorrow and strength. Her story is woven into the life of the sea, her spirit felt in every crashing wave and gentle breeze. Some say she was once a mortal princess, a woman of extraordinary grace and power who was blessed, and cursed, with a bond to the ocean. The waters called to her, whispering secrets, drawing her closer with every tide. When she vanished into the sea, she did not drown, she was transformed, her spirit bound to the depths, becoming its eternal protector, a guardian of the southern coast whose love for the people of Java runs as deep as the ocean itself. The people know her well, though few would claim to have seen her with their own eyes. They tell tales of her emerald green gown flowing like seaweed in the water, her hair as dark as the midnight sea, her eyes as deep as the ocean itself, full of both warmth and warning. Fishermen swear they have felt her presence on stormy nights, a protective force guiding them to shore when all seemed lost. She is a guardian, watching over her people, ensuring that those who respect the sea and its mysteries are safe under her care. But Nyi Roro Kidul is not just a gentle guardian, she is fierce, with a spirit as wild as the waves themselves. Those who disrespect her waters, who enter them with arrogance or greed, find themselves met with misfortune. Villagers speak of strange accidents, of powerful currents that pull those who dare to challenge the sea's authority. They believe this is Nyi Roro Kidul's warning, a reminder that the sea is hers and that respect is due to its queen. It is said that those who treat her waters with reverence, however, find themselves blessed, their nets full, their journeys smooth. To show respect to her is to honor the ocean, to acknowledge the spirit who watches over it with both love and power. In the grand palaces of Java, especially those close to the southern coast, rooms are prepared in her honor. Soft silks of green and blue are laid out as if awaiting her arrival, a tribute to the goddess who rules over the sea. Some say the royal family of Java is deeply connected to her, that she appears in visions, guiding them, blessing them, and, at times, warning them of the trials that may come. She is not bound by the limits of human time, her spirit flows with the endless tides, always watching, always waiting. Those who are brave or desperate enough seek her out, hoping for a glimpse of her grace, a blessing to soothe their troubles. They wear green in her honor, stepping quietly to the shore, calling out her name in humble tones. Some claim that in rare moments, on nights when the moon is full and the sea is still, they see her figure in the distance, her green gown shimmering under the moonlight, her face both distant and kind. In those moments, they feel a peace that no words can describe, as though her spirit is calming not just the waves, but the turmoil within their own hearts. But with her power comes a darkness, a warning to those who forget the delicate balance between reverence and hubris. The ocean is beautiful but dangerous, welcoming yet merciless. And so, Nyi Roro Kidul embodies both light and shadow, a goddess of love and vengeance, protector and punisher. She guards her realm with a loyalty that knows no bounds, demanding respect, not out of vanity but because she is the sea, wild and untamed. To honor her is to honor nature itself, to understand that the ocean is both a giver of life and a force that must be respected. To this day, people along the coast of Java tell stories of her presence, their voices low and filled with a quiet reverence. When the waves rise high and the sky darkens, they know it is Nyi Roro Kidul reminding them of her strength. And when the sea is calm, stretching out into a gentle horizon, they feel her love, her spirit watching over them as faithfully as the tide. She is their queen, their guardian, and as long as the ocean exists, her spirit will remain, a timeless force of love, beauty, and power. In the murky rivers and shadowed swamps of Indonesia, where the water meets the sky in a hazy dance of mist and mystery, people speak in hushed voices of the Buaya Putih, the white crocodile. It's not like any other creature. Those who have caught glimpses of it swear it holds something different, something far beyond the ordinary, like an ancient guardian watching from beneath the still waters. The Buaya Putih is no mere animal. It's a creature that straddles the line between this world and the spirit realm, a being shrouded in reverence and fear, both feared and revered as a sacred sign from beyond. When the people of Indonesia look out over the swamps at dusk, some speak of feeling a shift in the air, as if the water itself is aware, listening. They tell stories of a large, pale shape slipping beneath the surface, moving without a sound, its ghostly white scales glowing softly even in the murkiest of waters. Unlike the usual crocodile, the Buaya Putih is different in every way. Its skin is said to shimmer like moonlight on the water, and its eyes, those who have met its gaze feel something indescribable, as though looking into a place of both beauty and danger, of life and death. In Indonesian culture, seeing the white crocodile is like hearing a message from the other side, one that defies logic and explanation. People say that the Buaya Putih appears when something important is about to happen, a guardian sent by the spirits to warn, to protect, or perhaps to remind humans of their place in the world. Its presence signals that the river and all its life are sacred, that the creatures within it are bound by forces that humans can barely comprehend. To see the Buaya Putih is not a mere sighting, it's an encounter with the spiritual heart of the waters, an experience that stays with people, leaving them with an unsettling mixture of awe and humility. People along the riverbanks have long believed that this ghostly creature watches over them, understanding their joys and their struggles. For the villagers who live close to these waters, the white crocodile is more than a legend, it's an unspoken presence that fills them with a sense of connection to the natural world. They believe that its spirit moves through the waters, hearing their prayers, feeling their fears. And because of this, they do not enter its domain carelessly. When the waters are disturbed or when a tragedy is looming, they say the Buaya Putih shows itself, a quiet figure drifting just below the surface as a reminder of the river's hidden depths and its mysterious ways. In many communities, ceremonial practices have grown around the white crocodile, paying respects to this mystical being. During special times, people leave offerings along the riverbank, setting out flowers or food in hopes of appeasing this powerful guardian. Shamans and spiritual leaders often lead these rituals, calling out to the spirit of the Buaya Putih to watch over the village, to keep the waters calm and the people safe. For them, the crocodile is a bridge to the unknown, a being that listens when they call out for protection or guidance. Its image appears in carvings and paintings, a constant reminder of the river's sacred nature and of the ancient balance between humanity and the wild. To some, the white crocodile appears as a sign of protection, a spirit that safeguards the waters and all who depend on them. There are tales of people lost in the river's labyrinthine currents who are guided back by a glimpse of the ghostly creature leading the way. They say that in moments of despair, the Buaya Putih has appeared as if to shield them, its silent, pale form offering reassurance in the midst of danger. These stories are whispered between families, shared among friends as they sit by the river, a quiet testimony to the bond between the villagers and the creature they consider their silent protector. But there is also a side to the white crocodile that instills fear. It is, after all, still a crocodile, a being of immense power, and this power is not to be taken lightly. Some believe that to see the Buaya Putih can be a warning, a sign that something terrible is near. The creature appears not out of kindness but as a harbinger, a signal that the delicate balance of nature is being upset. Those who ignore this warning do so at their own peril, for to disrespect the Buaya Putih is to disrespect the spirits of the water, the forces that have held sway over these rivers and swamps for centuries. Fishermen know that before casting their nets, they must pay respects, for fear that the Buaya Putih might be disturbed. When they leave their offerings on the riverbanks, it's more than tradition, it's a gesture of respect, a way of acknowledging the silent presence that rules the waters. They believe that the white crocodile can bring good fortune or misfortune, depending on how they honor the water's spirit. And so, each catch, each journey onto the river, is done with a quiet reverence, a silent understanding that the waters are shared with a spirit older and wiser than any human heart. In these ways, the Buaya Putih is not only a creature but a reflection of the river itself, calm and still, yet full of life and mystery. Its presence keeps people mindful of their actions, its ghostly figure a constant reminder that nature is both beautiful and fierce, deserving of respect and awe. The white crocodile is a guardian, a guide, a reminder of forces that humans can't control. And as long as the rivers and swamps remain, the spirit of the Buaya Putih will linger, watching over the waters, drifting silently through the currents, its white scales shimmering softly as it slips beneath the surface, vanishing like a dream, yet always there, waiting. As dawn breaks over the waters off the coast of Maluku, the fishermen set out, rowing slowly across the dark sea that has fed their families for generations. They know these waters well, the feel of the currents, the tug of their nets. But as they gaze out over the horizon, there is something in the depths they cannot explain, a presence they sense more than see. They have all heard the stories, passed down through families like whispers, of the Ikenduyung, the mysterious sea maidens with long, flowing hair and the soft scales of fish, beings who live beneath the waves in a world just out of reach. They say the Ikenduyung appear at times when the ocean is unusually still, shimmering like dreams just below the water's surface. It's in the quiet of these mornings or the hush of twilight that they emerge, their hair floating like dark seaweed, their forms half hidden by the dance of the waves. Those who have seen them, or claim to have, speak of a beauty that is haunting, their eyes as deep as the ocean itself, filled with longing and sorrow. To look upon an Ikenduyung, they say, is to glimpse a world not meant for human eyes, a world where sorrow and joy flow together as seamlessly as the tides. In these fishing villages, the Ikenduyung are not just stories, they are guardians, spirits that represent the pulse of the ocean itself. The fishermen often cast their nets with quiet reverence, knowing that these beings watch over the waters. Some fishermen leave small offerings at the shore, flowers, or bits of food, tokens of respect and gratitude for the sea's bounty. It's a delicate balance they honor, a silent promise between humans and the ocean, and the Ikenduyung are at the heart of this understanding. These spirits are seen as protectors, guiding the fishermen's paths, calming the waves when storms threaten, or warning them of unseen dangers lurking in the depths. The stories vary from island to island, each region adding its own touch to the myth. Some believe the Ikenduyung are spirits of those lost at sea, wandering souls who have found a home beneath the waves. They say that the Duyung can be heard in the mournful cries of the wind over the water, their voices blending with the sound of the waves in a melody both beautiful and heartbreaking. Others speak of them as guardians of hidden treasures, their duty to protect the ocean's secrets from those who would take without giving back. But these spirits are not always benevolent. There are tales, especially in Maluku, of fishermen who grew too greedy, seeking to pull more from the ocean than they needed, only to find themselves lost to the sea, never to return. In these stories, it is said that the Ikenduyung appeared, not as protectors, but as avengers of the sea, drawing the selfish to the depths with promises of beauty and riches, only to leave them trapped beneath the waves. To meet their gaze, these tales warn, is to face a reflection of one's own heart. Those who are kind and humble see kindness in return, while those filled with greed and pride are drawn to their doom. These tales are reminders that the sea is a place of mystery, and that the Ikenduyung represent its spirit, untamed, full of life and danger, beauty and sadness. As the fishermen prepare to cast their nets, they glance at the water with a respect that borders on fear, knowing that the Ikenduyung see all, judge all. It is this understanding that keeps them humble, tied to the sea not just for sustenance, but in a bond of mutual respect and reverence. In the quiet moments, when the catch is good and the sea is calm, they say you might catch a glimpse of a duyung far out on the waves, her face half hidden by her flowing hair, her form fading like mist as she slips back into the deep. And for those who believe, this sighting is a blessing, a reminder of the balance they must keep in the spirits that guard the waters. For in every wave and ripple, the presence of the Ikenduyum lingers, a quiet, haunting beauty that draws the eye and stirs the soul, leaving those who look upon her forever changed. There is something almost too strange to believe, something that emerges from shadows and whispers in the corners of Indonesian folklore, the jinglet. These tiny, mysterious humanoid creatures, barely the size of a child's hand, are like nothing else in this world, yet people claim they have glimpsed them, that they have even held them. When seen up close, a jinglet has long, tangled hair that trails like roots of an ancient tree, skin that is coarse and brown like dried bark, and a face with a haunting, almost lifelike expression frozen in a grimace or smile. Some say the eyes appear to open if looked at for too long. Jinglet are not found wandering, they are discovered, often in the most unexpected places. Some are buried deep within the earth, hidden in the soil as if waiting to be unearthed. Others are found inside hollowed-out trees or concealed in the crevices of mountains. They have even been pulled from riverbeds, carried by the current until someone happens upon their small, fragile forms. And when one is found, the air thickens with a strange energy, as if the jinglet brings with it the weight of centuries, a presence that cannot be easily explained or dismissed. These tiny figures, with their eerie resemblance to humans, have long been regarded as more than mere curiosities. There is an unshakable belief that the jinglet are not ordinary creatures but carry a powerful, almost supernatural force within them. Those who possess a jinglet handle it with utmost caution, for it is said that these beings must be fed, even though they are neither alive nor dead in the conventional sense. People believe that jinglet require blood, drops of animal blood, sometimes human, fed to them regularly to keep their energies from fading, to maintain the magic that courses through their withered veins. Some say they can hear faint, ghostly whispers when they draw close, as if the jinglet has secrets to share, wisdom from a time long forgotten. The origins of the jinglet are as mysterious as the creatures themselves. Some legends suggest they are remnants of ancient, powerful shamans, sorcerers who were so tied to their magic that their spirits remained behind, condensing into these small, peculiar forms. Others believe the jinglet are gifts, or perhaps curses, from the spirit world, sent to act as guides or protectors, or sometimes as ominous warnings. There are those who hold that each jinglet is the spirit of a person trapped in a twilight state between life and death, a soul that couldn't cross over and instead clung to the earthly plane, shrinking over the centuries into this tiny, enchanted form. And yet, for all the mystery and caution surrounding them, people are drawn to the jinglet, mesmerized by the tales of their power. Stories tell of jinglet bringing good fortune, health, or protection from evil to those who honor them properly. With the right rituals and respect, a jinglet is said to act as a silent guardian, warding off misfortune, casting blessings upon homes, and even influencing luck. But there are also darker tales of those who have disrespected or mishandled a jinglet and found themselves beset by strange illnesses or misfortunes that seem to come from nowhere. It is as if these small beings carry a spirit that demands reverence, reminding their keepers of the mysterious forces that hover just beyond human understanding. People keep jinglet hidden in their homes, tucked into quiet corners or locked inside glass cases, treating them with a mix of fear and reverence. Some perform small, private rituals, leaving offerings or murmuring prayers, as though speaking to a living elder. Even the most skeptical find it hard to deny the strange atmosphere that surrounds these figures, a quiet yet unmistakable presence that lingers in the room, filling it with an energy that cannot be explained. They sit, unmoving and silent, yet there is an awareness about them, an ancient vigilance that watches from behind their tiny, unblinking faces. Occasionally, these jinglet are brought to shamans or spiritual leaders for guidance. It is said that a skilled shaman can interpret the intentions of a jinglet, even communicate with its spirit. They hold the jinglet gently, closing their eyes and listening, as if attuned to a frequency that only a few can hear. The shaman may tell the keeper if the jinglet brings protection, or if it requires something in return for its magic. And the keeper listens, heart-pounding, aware that they are holding something otherworldly, something that exists in a space beyond reason or science, bound by rules and secrets that humans cannot fully grasp. There are whispers, too, that the jinglet can alter one's fate. People seeking love, fortune, or success are drawn to them, hoping that the presence of a jinglet will tip the scales in their favor. But this gift does not come freely. Those who keep a jinglet must respect its spirit, honoring the unspoken pact that binds them. They must feed it, protect it, and above all, they must not forget the ancient power it embodies. For a jinglet, no matter how small and silent, holds within it the mysteries of a time long past, a magic that defies explanation. And so, the jinglet sits, a silent guardian in the shadows, a relic from a world that has nearly vanished. Those who encounter it can never quite forget its face, nor the way the air felt when they first looked into its tiny, hollow eyes. It is a creature of mystery and magic, feared and revered, a small yet powerful reminder of forces that exist just beyond the edge of sight, waiting, watching, and never truly leaving the world they once knew. Lake Toba in Sumatra is more than just a lake, it's an ancient story held in water and stone. Beneath the quiet surface, so still and expansive that it mirrors the sky, there are tales that ripple through time. The people here speak of Naga, the serpentine beings who dwell in these deep, sacred waters, where they silently guard secrets of creation and destruction, of life itself. These Nagas are not merely creatures, they are a presence, a force that connects the lake to the heavens and the earth, a symbol of beginnings and endings intertwined. Locals say that if you gaze into the lake long enough, you can almost feel them, the unseen guardians watching from below. There's a chill that wraps around you, as though a silent presence is taking note of your soul, a reminder that these waters are not just for fishing or swimming but are a living, breathing entity with a soul as ancient as the earth. In the quiet hours of dusk or dawn, when mist clings to the water and everything seems to hang between worlds, stories of the Nagas feel alive. They are said to be massive, winding creatures with scales that shimmer like precious stones, some dark as night, others as brilliant as the sunrise, gliding through the depths in majestic, unhurried grace. The Naga is both a creator and a destroyer in these myths, its role woven with both reverence and awe. One story tells of the Naga as a creator, where it coils itself tightly, winding around the earth and giving rise to the islands of Sumatra. The mountains and valleys, the rivers and the soil, everything we see is said to be formed by the Naga's body and spirit. This connection to the land makes people see the lake not just as a body of water, but as something living, its depths sacred and its beauty beyond measure. The Naga's presence becomes a reminder that everything we have was once nothing, until something ancient and wise shaped it into existence. Yet, the Naga's gift of life is shadowed by its capacity to bring devastation. In times of unrest, when the lake's waters swell or a storm descends without warning, it's believed that the Naga stirs in anger or sorrow. There are tales of great floods and tremors that have shaken the land, destruction that has swallowed villages, leaving behind silence and grief. These moments are seen not as natural calamities, but as the Naga's fierce reminder of its power, a force that can create or take back life with equal ease. People watch the waters with a respect edged in fear, knowing that peace with the Naga is as delicate as the mist that clings to the morning shores. In the village communities around Lake Toba, rituals to honor the Naga are a part of life, an act of both devotion and survival. During these rituals, offerings are made, often at the water's edge, small bundles of rice, fruits, flowers, tokens of respect from those who seek the Naga's favor. Families gather, speaking to the unseen spirit of the lake, asking for protection, for health, for the waters to remain calm. These ceremonies are solemn, the air thick with reverence, as if the people are whispering their deepest hopes and fears to the lake itself. Children are taught these practices from a young age, their first memories tied to the sense of something profound residing within the lake, something far beyond human reach. Some elders recount the sighting of the Naga on rare, fateful nights when the moonlight shines bright enough to pierce the lake's depths. They speak of a glimmering form beneath the water, the faint shape of something large and ancient, scales reflecting the light in a spectral dance. For those who have seen it, The encounter is not just a sight but an experience that marks them forever. It is said that after seeing the Naga, one's life is never the same. There is a deeper understanding of the world, a knowledge that humankind is small, and that the universe is filled with forces that are vast, powerful, and profoundly wise. The Naga of Lake Toba is also a reminder of duality. Just as it embodies both creation and destruction, it represents the dual nature of life, the beauty and the tragedy, the light and the darkness. For the communities around the lake, this creature is an emblem of balance, a force that holds the world in its steady gaze, neither wholly merciful nor completely unforgiving. This belief shapes the way people live, encouraging them to honor nature, to tread lightly, aware that every action ripples across the world, just as a single stone cast into Lake Toba sends waves across its surface. To the Batak people of Sumatra, the Naga is more than a creature. It is a symbol of the bond between earth and spirit, the idea that all things are connected. The trees, the mountains, the animals, the humans, all are held together by a thread of life that the Naga weaves and watches over. The stories passed down through generations capture this reverence, this sense of interconnection that threads through every living thing. Children grow up with these tales, understanding that Lake Toba is not merely a lake but a cradle of life, a reminder of where they come from and of the mysteries that continue to shape their world. And in this way, the Naga remains alive, not just in the depths of Lake Toba, but in the hearts of those who call it home. The stories breathe life into this mythical creature, allowing it to move quietly within their lives, unseen yet always felt. Every ripple on the lake's surface, every cloud that drifts across the mountains, every silent dawn, reminds them of the Naga's presence. It is a legacy of creation and of power, a legacy that whispers to all who are willing to listen, filling the still waters of Lake Toba with a silent yet enduring life. In Indonesia, the Garuda isn't just a myth, it's a heartbeat woven into the fabric of the country's spirit. The sight of Garuda, a magnificent bird with golden feathers and an unyielding gaze, stirs something timeless, a call to courage and strength that every Indonesian can feel. This legendary bird has flown through centuries, transcending ancient beliefs, reaching into the present, and nestling itself as a powerful symbol in the modern Indonesian identity. Garuda's origins trace back to Hindu-Buddhist mythology, where it is depicted as the fierce vehicle of Lord Vishnu, embodying both protection and divine power. In these stories, Garuda is not just any bird, he is a majestic deity who dared to challenge the gods, driven by an unbreakable resolve. The myth tells of Garuda's daring quest to free his mother from the bonds of enslavement, flying through treacherous worlds and confronting adversaries with unwavering strength. In a show of both might and loyalty, Garuda steals the elixir of immortality, offering it not for himself, but to free his mother. This act of sacrifice and bravery transformed Garuda from a mere mythical being to an eternal symbol of selflessness and courage. For centuries, this tale of Garuda's unbreakable will has found a home in the hearts of the Indonesian people. He is a protector, a warrior, and a beacon of resilience. Today, his image graces the Indonesian national emblem, Garuda Pancasila, his wings outstretched, a symbol of freedom and unity. He holds the nation's motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity, a reminder of Indonesia's strength found in its diversity of languages, cultures, and islands. Just as Garuda stands firm, so too does the nation, bound by an unwavering spirit and love for the homeland. Across Indonesia's islands, Garuda's story takes on different forms, each adaptation reflecting the values and dreams of the local people. In Bali, Garuda is honored in sacred dances and temple carvings, his presence seen as a guardian of wisdom and virtue. Temples display Garuda with fierce eyes, strong claws, and golden wings, each detail reflecting reverence for his strength and his protection. People gather in temple courtyards, surrounded by incense and chanting, as dancers bring Garuda's myth to life. Children watch, eyes wide with wonder, as they learn that this creature is not just a story but a guide, a spirit who embodies the values of bravery and dedication to family and faith. In Java, Garuda's image appears in shadow puppet performances, where he is celebrated as a hero of both the physical and spiritual worlds. These performances, called wayang kulit, bring Garuda to life through intricate puppets and masterful storytelling. Shadows flicker against the screen, showing Garuda's form as he soars through his quests, facing monsters and overcoming all obstacles. In each movement, each flicker of the puppet's wings, the audience feels the weight of Garuda's strength, his determination, his purpose. For Javanese audiences, Garuda is more than a mythical figure. He's a reminder that courage is not a choice but a necessity, a part of the soul. Even in modern times, Garuda's presence remains powerful. The national airline, Garuda Indonesia, proudly bears his name, its planes crossing the skies like the mythical bird himself, connecting islands, families, and communities. Just as Garuda's wings carried him across perilous journeys, so too do these planes serve as a bridge across the thousands of islands that make up the nation, connecting people separated by seas and mountains. Each flight becomes a tribute to the strength, unity, and connection that Garuda represents. Garuda's story also finds life in everyday life and popular culture. Statues of Garuda stand tall in cities and villages alike, his wings stretched in eternal protection over the people. In some places, his image guards the gates of schools, government buildings, and even marketplaces, a symbol that watches over those who come and go, a reminder that strength and loyalty are never far away. Parents tell his story to their children as they fall asleep, encouraging them to be brave, to stand up for what is right, to love and protect those they care about. Throughout the archipelago, Garuda's tale has become more than a story of ancient times, it's a living symbol of resilience. When the people face hardships, when they rebuild after natural disasters or struggle for independence, Garuda's spirit seems to echo in their hearts. The courage, strength, and unity Garuda embodies become a silent yet unbreakable bond shared among the people, a connection that stretches across language and distance. He is more than just a character in mythology, he is the embodiment of a hope that has withstood the test of time, a constant reminder that no matter the trials, there is a spirit within that can rise, unbroken. The Indonesian people hold Garuda close, not as a distant legend, but as an inseparable part of their identity. From the mountains of Papua to the bustling streets of Jakarta, from the rice terraces of Bali to the shores of Sumatra, Garuda's spirit is a quiet, steady force, whispering strength and resilience. In a world that changes with each passing day, Garuda's legacy remains, a timeless symbol reminding everyone that true strength comes from the courage to fight, the loyalty to protect, and the heart to unite. In Bali, there lives a guardian who is as majestic as he is fierce, a creature believed to carry the heart of goodness itself. This is Barong, the spirit of protection, a lion-like being who battles the forces of darkness with strength, grace, and an unwavering commitment to those he watches over. With a crown adorned in glistening ornaments and a body covered in ornate fur and delicate carvings, Barong is a sight that commands awe and comfort all at once. To the Balinese, he is more than a symbol, he is a guardian woven into their lives, their ceremonies, and their prayers. In Balinese mythology, Barong embodies the spirit of goodness, standing as a powerful figure of light and resilience against all that threatens peace and harmony. His tale has been passed down through generations, spoken of in hushed voices by the elderly to children eager to hear of his valor. Each time Barong's name is mentioned, it is spoken with reverence, for he is not just a creature of legend, but a protector who continues to live within the pulse of Balinese culture. His appearance is striking, with the mane and face of a lion and a body adorned in intricate designs, reflecting both his ferocity and his sacred role in Bali's spiritual world. The Barong dance, a captivating ritual, brings this majestic creature to life, his movements bold, his presence commanding. In these performances, Barong becomes more than a figure of myth, he becomes a living protector, his spirit joining those of the people who gather to witness his journey. The dance is unlike any other, it tells a timeless tale of good versus evil, where Barong faces Rangda, the powerful queen of dark forces. Rangda, fierce and terrifying, represents all that is sinister and harmful, embodying chaos, destruction, and the loss of balance. The stage becomes a battleground between light and dark, a struggle as old as time, where Barong and Rangda engage in a dance that is not just for entertainment, but a reminder of the eternal fight within each of us between light and shadow. Barong, with each graceful move, reminds his audience that goodness can conquer darkness, that bravery, compassion, and the will to protect one's people are stronger than any evil force. When he raises his head, adorned with fangs and glowing eyes, he isn't just a dancer's mask. He becomes a force, an embodiment of every wish, every prayer for safety and strength. The energy surrounding Barong's dance is electric. Villagers watch, entranced, their hearts beating in time with the pounding drums. Children cling to their parents, peeking from behind them as they witness Barong's power, feeling both awe and comfort. This dance is their story. It is their ancestors' tales brought to life before them, their hopes and fears unfolding in a rhythm that has pulsed for centuries. For the Balinese, Barong's victory is more than just a conclusion to the performance. Each victory is a blessing, a reassurance that they are protected, that good will always find a way to triumph. During festivals, Barong is a central figure, paraded through villages in elaborate ceremonies, his form both fierce and comforting as he makes his way through streets lined with offerings and flower petals. The villagers believe that Barong's presence brings blessings, that his spirit watches over their homes and fields, protecting them from any harm that might lurk unseen. His body is adorned in colorful fabrics, his mane sparkling with golden beads, and his entire being exudes the essence of light, a warmth that fills the hearts of everyone who gathers to see him. Each ritual involving Barong is an act of love and respect, a gesture of devotion that has been upheld by the Balinese for generations. Families gather to pray, offering flowers, incense, and food to Barong, their protector, their beloved guardian. In these ceremonies, the connection between Barong and the people becomes palpable. It's a bond that is built not only on legend, but on the shared belief in his guardianship. In every prayer, in every bow of the head, there is a sense of gratitude, a whisper of thanks to the one who stands between them and the darkness. For the Balinese, Barong isn't confined to stories or performances. His spirit is present in daily life, in the temples where villagers lay offerings, in the fields where farmers call upon his blessings for a good harvest, and in the quiet moments of prayer before family shrines. When villagers face hardship, when they gather to pray for healing or protection, they turn to Barong, their belief in his power as strong as ever. To them, he is a living force, a source of courage that never fades, a light that shines even in the most challenging of times. In the hearts of the Balinese, Barong is the spirit that makes them feel safe, the presence that reassures them when shadows seem to grow long. He is more than just a myth or a dance. He is a friend, a guardian, and a reminder of the resilience of goodness. Each time they speak his name, each time they witness his dance, they are reminded of the beauty of their culture, the strength in their faith, and the power of light to outshine even the deepest darkness. In Balinese mythology, there exists a figure whose very name brings chills, her presence a powerful reminder of the darkness that resides in every soul. She is Ramda, the feared queen of witches. With wild, glaring eyes and long, untamed hair that falls around her like a storm, she exudes an aura of foreboding, a creature born of night and chaos. Ramda stands as the polar opposite to Barong, embodying everything that is fierce, untamed, and vengeful. Her story is woven into the very fabric of Bali, and her essence has haunted countless dreams and evoked endless cautionary tales. Ramda is not merely a witch in the conventional sense, she is a force, an entity that holds a mirror to the darker aspects of human nature. Her face is a mask of terror with a gaping mouth filled with fangs, her expression one of eternal rage and sorrow. She carries a dark past, a tale that speaks of betrayal, anguish, and the desire for revenge. Some say she was once a queen, a woman of power and dignity, wronged by those she trusted most. Consumed by grief and anger, she turned to dark forces, harnessing powers that transformed her into the Queen of Witches. Her spirit became vengeful, her very existence a testament to the anguish of those who have suffered and lost. Ramda's presence is more than just folklore, it is the embodiment of the conflict between good and evil, between light and dark, a reminder of the human capacity for both kindness and cruelty. She is feared yet respected, and her tale is one that teaches as much as it terrifies. Her anger is raw, her sorrow intense, and her power immense, creating an indomitable figure that cannot be ignored. To see Ramda portrayed in Balinese ritual dances is to see an expression of unrestrained emotion, a figure who seethes with a purpose, a warning for those who dare to defy the natural balance. The Balinese barong dance brings Ramda and barong face to face, a sight that is as mesmerizing as it is haunting. The battle between these two ancient forces plays out on stage with unmatched intensity, capturing the age-old struggle between goodness and malevolence. Barong, with his benevolent presence, represents protection, guidance, and the force of light. Ramda, on the other hand, with her wild hair and menacing gaze, represents chaos, destruction, and the consequences of unchecked emotion. Each time they face each other, it is a reminder of the struggle within each of us, the constant tug-of-war between kindness and anger, calm and rage. In the dance, Ramda wields black magic, casting spells and summoning spirits, her movements sharp and fierce. She taunts and challenges, her power palpable, as if daring the forces of light to face her wrath. Her voice is said to send shivers down the spine, her spells weaving webs of darkness that ensnare the weak-hearted. As she moves, her gaze is filled with rage, but also with an unmistakable sorrow, a pain so deep it can only be born of betrayal and heartache. Ramda is not merely evil, she is the manifestation of pain that has transformed into fury, of a heart that has turned dark from unhealed wounds. When Barong meets Ramda on that sacred stage, they clash in a battle that goes beyond just a physical struggle. It is a battle of ideals, of inner battles that each viewer knows all too well. The spectators watch, transfixed, their hearts racing as they witness this eternal dance. Each move is symbolic, each expression carrying the weight of centuries of belief, of the recognition that darkness exists within everyone and that only by acknowledging it can one truly hope to overcome it. Ramda's rage seems unstoppable, yet Barong stands firm, his presence a calming force amidst her storm. Their struggle embodies the hope that light can withstand darkness, that even in the face of overwhelming odds, goodness can endure. Children and adults alike watch Ramda with a mixture of fear and fascination, drawn to her power but wary of her darkness. The elders speak of her in solemn tones, cautioning young ones about the dangers of unbridled emotion and unchecked desires. To them, Ramda is not merely a frightening figure, she is a teacher, a reminder of the consequences that arise when one's pain is allowed to fester and transform into hatred. She stands as a warning, a figure that compels reflection on one's own actions and the importance of forgiveness and balance. For the Balinese, Ramda is more than just a villain in a story, she is an essential part of their culture, a figure who serves as both caution and challenge. She invites them to confront their own inner darkness, to acknowledge their own struggles, and to strive for balance. The battle between Ramda and Barong is more than a dance, it is a lesson, a reminder of the ever-present tension between right and wrong, between selfish desires and the greater good. Ramda may be fearsome, but she is also vital, a figure that keeps the people grounded, aware of the dangers of straying too far into one's own anger and grief. Through Ramda, the Balinese find an expression of their fears, their regrets, and their own inner turmoil. Her presence is unsettling, her gaze piercing, yet she holds a mirror to the soul, showing that even in the darkness, there is a lesson, a way to understand one's own depths. The sight of her fierce battle with Barong is a reminder that while darkness may seem overpowering, it is never absolute. Goodness, kindness, and resilience have a place, even amidst the darkest nights. Ramda stands as the shadow to Barong's light, a figure that ensures the balance remains, that no one ever forgets the importance of compassion and forgiveness, even when faced with the most profound pain. The Kuda Lumping dance is unlike any other performance in the world. It's a dance where the human spirit seems to slip away, making room for something ancient, something wild, to take hold. The dancers, seemingly ordinary people at first, move with intense focus and determination. They hold woven bamboo horses painted in vivid colors, gripping these flat, stylized steeds as though they are real, galloping along as if possessed by a force beyond comprehension. This isn't just a dance, it's a moment where reality and myth blur, where spirits are said to ride alongside humans, if not within them. In the villages of Java, the Kuda Lumping dance isn't merely entertainment. When performed, it resonates with a magic that reaches deep into the hearts of those watching. Spectators don't just watch, they feel it, a pulse of energy and life that can be both exhilarating and unsettling. In this dance, dancers are believed to enter a trance, becoming vessels for spirits that take over their bodies, letting them embody a spirit horse, powerful and unrestrained. It's as if the dancers are temporarily giving up their own souls, letting something mysterious and mystical inhabit them, guiding their steps, swaying them into strange, unearthly movements. The trance in kuda lumping isn't a light state of mind. The dancers, lost in the possession, lose the grip on their own senses. With glazed eyes and tense muscles, they become almost otherworldly. They bite at broken glass, whip at themselves, endure tests of pain without flinching. It's a moment that stretches beyond ordinary human capability, and everyone who witnesses it is left questioning what powers lie hidden, just beyond reach. The dancers' bodies defy logic, becoming resilient, indifferent to pain, as though protected by something unseen. The villagers speak of it in hushed tones, some with awe, others with fear. Here's where the spirit world and the physical world overlap in a raw, visceral way. The dance tells a story of strength and courage. Legend has it that the kuda lumping originated as a tribute to warriors or soldiers who rode horses into battle. Over time, it transformed into this captivating dance, bringing warriors' fierce spirits back to life. The woven horse under each dancer's grip becomes more than just a prop. As they gallop, prance, and move, that horse becomes real in spirit, an extension of the dancer's very being, guiding their moves in a way that seems almost impossible to resist. The crowd can sense this connection, how the dancer and the horse, spirit and human, meld together, breathing as one, living as one. People watching the dance are often overcome by the tension in the air, by the eerie beauty of the sight before them. Some say they can feel the energy of the spirits in the air, an ancient power watching over the scene, as if honoring the old ways. And for the dancers, it is an act of surrender, giving up control and letting the spirit of the horse run free through their bodies. Children hide behind their parents, gazing wide-eyed as they witness something that feels at once thrilling and unsettling. The villagers know that this isn't just a show, it's a sacred act, one that should not be taken lightly, for it brings something from another world into theirs, if only for a fleeting moment. After the performance, it often takes time for the dancers to return to themselves. Some fall exhausted to the ground, dazed and disoriented, needing help to steady their steps. It's as if they are waking from a powerful dream, slowly finding their way back from a place far beyond ordinary sight. The spectators know that what they've witnessed is more than skill or endurance. It is a window into a world that exists parallel to their own, yet only reachable through rituals like kuda lumping. This dance brings people to the edge of that other world, close enough to touch, to sense the power it holds. In the quiet after the dance, as the last of the incense fades and the echo of the gamelan music lingers, the villagers whisper about the experience. Some share stories of relatives who once danced, others speak of friends who've entered the trance and felt a presence so strong it changed them forever. The kuda lumping isn't just a dance for the people of Java, it is an encounter with the unseen, an act of trust and faith in forces they do not fully understand. Through it, they celebrate not only their connection to the spirit world, but also the resilience and bravery that lives within them, even if it's just a glimpse, a fleeting bond with the world of spirits riding alongside them. There is a powerful silence before a volcano erupts. A stillness lingers in the air, thick and charged with something ancient, something that stirs deep within the earth. In Indonesia, where mountains and volcanoes dot the landscape, the fiery hearts of these natural giants are more than just geological marvels. They are believed to house spirits known as sumber jinni, beings who hold the force of fire within them. The people say these spirits are ancient guardians of the mountains, beings that sleep in the depths of volcanoes and awaken only when they must release their powerful, searing breath into the world above. When volcanic tremors shake the earth, when smoke and ash begin to rise, it's not just molten rock that emerges. For the locals, it's a reminder of the sumber jinni, these fire-breathing spirits whose strength and fury are as old as the land itself. There is an awe that fills the hearts of those who live near these towering volcanoes, an understanding that they share their world with forces far beyond human control. In moments of volcanic eruption, when rivers of molten lava surge down the mountainsides, some believe that they can sense the presence of the Simber Jinni. It's said that when these spirits breathe, their flames light up the sky, transforming it into a fiery vision of orange and red. People often stay away from the mountain slopes, warning each other to respect the spirits who live there, to avoid stirring their wrath. When night falls, the villagers sometimes catch glimpses of what they say are the Simber Jinni dancing through the flames, their forms flickering in and out of the fire as if reminding everyone of the ancient pact between humankind and nature's wildest forces. Legends describe the Simber Jinni as both protectors and punishers, beings with an intense, undying fire within them. Some believe that the spirits of ancestors dwell among the Simber Jinni, guiding the volcanic activity to release energy only when the balance of nature demands it. For the communities, it's a balance that demands both respect and fear. The Simber Jinni are not mindless destroyers. Their actions, however destructive they may seem, are viewed as a part of a natural cycle, a fierce reminder that creation and destruction are intertwined, one dependent upon the other. The villagers watch the mountains closely, reading the smoke and listening to the rumbling earth as signs of the spirit's intentions, knowing that even the most peaceful mountain can become a river of fire in mere moments. Stories handed down through generations speak of how, long ago, a village nestled too close to a volcano once faced the full fury of these fire spirits. According to legend, the people had forgotten the rituals of respect and offerings to the Simber Jinni, failing to honor them during the seasonal changes. As a result, one night, the spirits were said to have risen from the mountain with fury, releasing torrents of lava that covered the land, sparing nothing in its path. The villagers who survived that night say they saw figures within the flames, spirits that roared and moved with the intensity of a wildfire, a vision of the Simber Jinni awakened and furious. In the aftermath, survivors offered prayers and offerings, hoping to soothe the spirits and rebuild what was lost. Some people believe that even the smallest eruption, a gentle puff of ash or a subtle shift in the earth, is a message from the Simber Jinni, a reminder of their presence. During smaller eruptions, elders advise everyone to whisper words of gratitude and humility, offering simple tokens of respect to keep the spirits appeased. In certain villages, ritual dances are performed at the base of volcanic mountains, dancers wearing fiery red and orange garb, their movements mirroring the unpredictability of the flames. This dance is both an offering and a plea, a call for mercy from the spirits that can transform the landscape in a breath. Children are often told tales of the Simber Jinni to remind them of the fragile beauty and danger of their homeland. Parents warn them not to wander too close to the volcanoes, especially on nights when the sky is clear and the mountains seem to glow with an otherworldly light. These are the times when the Simber Jinni are believed to be most active, surveying the land, their silent presence filling the dark with a reminder of their power. Through these stories, the young learn that volcanoes are not merely mountains, they are the thrones of spirits who shape and protect the land. In some places, offerings of rice, flowers, and incense are laid at shrines dedicated to the Simber Jinni, small acts of reverence to keep the spirits' tempers calm. During ceremonies, the scent of incense fills the air, and a quiet, reflective mood takes over the crowd. The villagers sing old hymns and chant prayers, filling the air with their voices as they ask the spirits to grant them peace, to protect their lands and spare their people. There is a belief that, through these offerings, the Simber Jinni can be reminded of their role as protectors, not just forces of destruction. This act of honoring the spirits is as much a reminder for the villagers as it is for the Simber Jinni, of the delicate balance they all depend upon. In rare moments, after a particularly fierce eruption, villagers find small, hardened remnants of lava that they say are gifts from the Simber Jinni. These blackened stones, known as tears of the Simber Jinni, are believed to hold a piece of the spirit's strength. People keep these stones as symbols of resilience, as reminders of the spirit's power and the beauty of a land that endures even after it has been scorched and renewed by fire. The Simber Jinni aren't seen as villains or monsters in these legends. They are reminders of nature's ultimate, unpredictable power, a force that can build mountains and raise villages, a force that is respected, feared, and revered all at once. To the people living in the shadows of these volcanoes, the Simber Jinni embody the heartbeat of the earth itself, a pulse that may at times rage and burn but also gives life, shaping the very land on which they walk. And as long as the mountains stand, as long as fire and ash are part of their lives, the people will continue to honor these fire-breathing spirits, knowing they are an eternal part of their world. In the quiet depths of the forests, where sunlight only trickles through the canopy and shadows play along the underbrush, there is a silence that feels watchful, as though unseen eyes are observing every step. In these hidden places, it is said that the Orang Bunyan dwell, mysterious beings who live just beyond the reach of human sight, in a world parallel to our own. Some call them the hidden people, elusive and unseen, their presence hinted at by a gentle rustling, a strange whisper carried on the wind, or sudden chills that make the hair on the back of the neck stand up. Orang Bunyan are often described as eerily beautiful, resembling humans but with a luminous, otherworldly glow. Their features are flawless, their movements graceful and swift, as if they drift on air rather than walk on the forest floor. The villagers who live near the wilderness tell stories of seeing a fleeting glimpse of these figures, only to look again and find nothing but an empty stretch of trees. They are both feared and respected, these hidden people, said to possess powers beyond human understanding, yet willing to assist those who honor their presence. Their world remains cloaked from our eyes, a place untouched by time, where shadows and spirits blend into one. Those who have lived near these forests speak of moments that send chills down the spine. A sudden fragrance of jasmine blooms out of nowhere, or footsteps seem to echo softly just out of sight. These are said to be signs of the Orang Bunyan. They are guardians of the wild, protectors of nature's secrets, and sometimes they reach across the boundary into our world, leaving tokens of their presence. To stumble upon a delicate flower woven with vines, or a strangely arranged set of stones, is often interpreted as a message, a reminder that these beings are watching. In the small villages, the elderly share stories of people who have encountered the Orang Bunyan. They tell of those who entered the forest and vanished for days, only to return with no memory of where they had been, yet somehow different, as if touched by another realm. These lost souls often recall hearing soft, enchanting music or seeing lights twinkling in the distance, guiding them into the shadows before everything went blank. Villagers say that the Orang Bunyan sometimes lure humans into their world by accident, especially those who enter the forest alone or stray from familiar paths. And while most are returned unharmed, a few come back changed, quiet and distant, forever haunted by glimpses of that other world. It is said that the Orang Bunyan are neither fully good nor fully evil. They are beings of their own, bound by rules beyond human understanding. They may offer blessings to those who respect their space and honor the forest with gentle words or small offerings. Hunters and gatherers leave rice or flowers at the forest's edge, asking the Orang Bunyan for permission to enter their domain. The people believe that failing to show respect could invoke the displeasure of the hidden people, bringing misfortune or even a mysterious illness that no medicine can cure. Stories of Orang Bunyan marriages are whispered with both wonder and sorrow. Occasionally, a person is taken as a spouse by one of these hidden beings. Families have spoken of loved ones who seemed entranced, drawn toward the forest by some unseen pull. Once, a young woman went missing from her village, only to reappear months later, unable to recall where she had been. Some claimed she had wed an Orang Bunyan man, her eyes haunted by memories of ethereal celebrations and haunting music under the moonlight. Such tales end with heartbreak, for the Orang Bunyan's world is not meant for humans, and those who try to remain there often fade like morning mist. The Orang Bunyan are also known to mimic human voices, sometimes calling out in familiar tones, tricking unsuspecting people into following the sound. A voice calls for help, or a loved one's name is heard in the distance, only for the person to find themselves deeper in the woods, utterly lost. These voices are not meant to harm but to remind humans of the boundaries between the worlds. It is a chilling experience for those who hear it, a lesson taught through fear, as if the Orang Bunyan are testing the strength of human curiosity. When villagers gather to tell tales of the Orang Bunyan, they speak with quiet reverence. The hidden people represent an old understanding between humans and nature, one that has survived countless generations. The Orang Bunyan are keepers of the unknown, reminders of forces that remain unseen, of spirits that live alongside humanity. In a world that seems so mapped and known, they embody mystery and enchantment, humbling those who believe themselves to be masters of the land. In some places, people leave small offerings at dusk, tokens of rice, flowers, or even a few coins, believing that these gifts will keep the Orang Bunyan content. These offerings are not only a way of asking for protection but a show of gratitude, acknowledging the unseen presence that maintains the balance of nature. For the people of the village, the Orang Bunyan are the spirit of the land itself, hidden but alive, felt in every rustling leaf and every glimmer of light that dances through the trees. When the children hear these tales, their eyes grow wide with wonder, half believing, half terrified. They listen as their grandparents explain that the Orang Bunyan are always near, watching and guarding the lands. They learn that if they respect the forest, walk with humility, and never take more than they need, the Orang Bunyan will protect them. But if they become greedy, if they treat the land as a possession rather than a home, they may face the wrath of these hidden guardians. The Orang Bunyan exist in a space of reverence and mystery. They are a reminder of the beauty of the unknown, of a world that holds secrets too precious to be fully revealed. They live beyond our sight yet close enough to touch our lives, guardians of a deeper wisdom, teachers of respect. And though most will never see them, the people know they are there, woven into the fabric of the wilderness, forever part of the land and its timeless magic. In the stillness of the night, when the moon hangs low and shadows stretch across the ground, a haunting wail fills the air, sending chills down the spine of anyone who dares to listen. This is the cry of the Kuntilanak, a ghostly figure rooted deep in Indonesian folklore. Often depicted as a woman in white, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, she walks silently, searching for something lost. But beneath her ethereal beauty lies a story of tragedy, revenge, and the powerful force of femininity. The Kuntilanak is not just any ghost, she is the spirit of a woman who died during childbirth, a victim of betrayal or cruelty. Her fate echoes the pain many women have endured throughout history. It is said that her spirit remains in this world, trapped between life and death, forever mourning the child she lost. This deep sorrow transforms her into a figure of vengeance, her cries resonating with the anguish of those who have suffered. When she appears, it is a reminder of the pain of motherhood gone wrong, of dreams shattered, and of lives cut short. As she roams the earth, the Kuntilanak embodies the strength of women and the power of their stories. She is both a protector and a punisher. Those who have wronged women, who have turned a blind eye to their suffering or denied them their rights, may find themselves haunted by her presence. Her vengeance is swift and terrifying, a chilling reminder that the pain inflicted upon women will not go unpunished. Villagers often share stories of men who mistreated their partners only to be struck by misfortune shortly after, all believed to be the work of the Kuntilanak. The connection between the Kuntilanak and childbirth is profound. For many women, the act of giving birth is both a beautiful miracle and a deeply vulnerable experience. Yet, it can also be fraught with danger, especially in a world that sometimes disregards the health and well-being of mothers. The Kuntilanak stands as a fierce reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of motherhood. Her spirit serves as both a warning and a symbol of hope, hope for those who survive, and a reminder to honor the women who have faced unimaginable challenges. When her wails echo through the night, they carry the weight of centuries of pain and longing. People say that if you hear her cry, it means she is near, and you should tread carefully. Some believe that you should call out to her, offering comfort, while others warn to stay silent and avoid drawing her attention. Many women, particularly those who have faced hardship or loss, find a connection to her spirit, seeing her as a representation of their struggles and strength. The Kuntilanak story becomes a rallying cry for women to embrace their power and demand respect in a world that has often overlooked their suffering. In the darkness, she is both feared and revered. Children grow up hearing tales of the Kuntilanak, instilling in them a sense of caution but also an understanding of the strength that comes from female resilience. Parents tell stories not only to frighten their children but to teach them about the importance of compassion and understanding. The Kuntilanak serves as a guardian figure, a reminder that the struggles of women should never be forgotten. Those who claim to have encountered her share eerie tales of her ghostly figure. A woman walks alone at night, only to find herself enveloped by an unnatural chill. The air grows heavy, and the shadows seem to shift, as if alive. In an instant, she feels the weight of sorrow in the air, the heart-wrenching cry of a mother echoing through the trees. It is said that when you meet the Kuntilanak, you can sense her pain. Some feel compelled to reach out, to comfort her, while others run, terrified of the wrath that may follow. In Indonesian culture, the Kuntilanak is often portrayed in art and dance, a powerful symbol of feminine strength. Dancers transform into her spirit, their movements embodying both grace and ferocity. The performances tell stories of loss, revenge, and ultimately, resilience. The audience is captivated, moved by the depth of emotion displayed. Through these performances, the tales of the Kuntilanak are passed down, ensuring that her legacy lives on. She becomes not just a ghost story but a powerful narrative of female experience. The Kuntilanak also reflects broader societal issues, symbolizing the need for justice for women who have suffered in silence. She is a ghost of many voices, each echoing the stories of those who have faced discrimination, abuse, or neglect. Her presence challenges society to acknowledge these truths and seek change. The cries of the Kuntilanak resonate as a call for compassion, urging us to listen to the voices of women and honor their experiences. The impact of her story extends beyond the fear she instills. The Kuntilanak's tale resonates with the struggles of women throughout history, highlighting their resilience and strength. It reminds everyone that behind the stories of ghosts lie real experiences, pain, and longing. In embracing her narrative, we learn to recognize the struggles of women and the importance of standing up for their rights. As dusk falls and the moon rises, the stories of the Kuntilanak echo in the hearts of those who remember her. They whisper her name in reverence, acknowledging the lessons she imparts. She is not just a ghost, she is a symbol of feminine power, a spirit that embodies the complexities of life, loss, and love. When her cries pierce the night, they serve as a reminder that every woman has a story worth telling, a story that deserves to be heard, honored, and cherished. In the heart of the dense, whispering forests of Indonesia, where the trees stand tall and the underbrush hides secrets, there are tales of a mysterious group known as the Orang Bunyian, or the Hidden People. These elusive humanoid beings are said to roam the wilderness, blending seamlessly with their surroundings, almost as if they are part of the very fabric of nature itself. They are not just myths, they represent a deep connection between humanity and the natural world, stirring curiosity and sparking the imagination of those who hear their stories. The Orang Bunyian are described as beautiful beings, often resembling humans, but possessing an otherworldly charm that sets them apart. With flowing hair and a graceful demeanor, they are said to be gentle yet mischievous, capable of both kindness and trickery. The tales of their interactions with humans reveal a complex relationship that evokes both wonder and caution. Some villagers speak of encounters filled with joy, where the Orang Bunyian lend a helping hand or offer protection during times of trouble. In these stories, they are guardians of the forest, appearing when least expected, bringing comfort and reassurance to those who wander too far from home. But there are also darker tales, warning of the dangers of encountering these hidden people. Some say that if you disrespect the forest or take more than you need, the Orang Bunyian might play tricks on you, leading you in circles or hiding your belongings. Others tell of people who have ventured too deep into the woods and vanished without a trace, leaving only whispers of their fate behind. This duality of the Orang Bunyian's nature, their ability to be both benevolent and vengeful, serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. One story tells of a young boy named Armin who often wandered into the forest to play. One day, as he chased butterflies, he stumbled upon a beautiful glade filled with vibrant flowers and sparkling streams. Enchanted, he sat down to rest, unaware of the figures watching him from the shadows. The Orang Bunyian were curious about this little boy who seemed so carefree and joyful. They approached him, revealing themselves as they danced among the flowers, their laughter ringing like chimes in the wind. Armin watched in awe, feeling an overwhelming sense of happiness. The Orang Bunyian invited him to join their dance, and for a while, he felt free and alive. But as the sun began to set, he remembered his mother's warnings about the forest and the hidden people. With a heavy heart, he bid them farewell, promising to return one day. The Orang Bunyan, touched by his sincerity, gifted him a single flower that would always bloom, no matter the season. This flower would remind him of their friendship and the magic of the forest. As Armin grew older, he often returned to the spot where he first met the Orang Bunyan, but as time passed, he struggled to find that same glade. The vibrant colors faded from his memory, replaced by the weight of responsibility and the worries of adulthood. He realized that life had pulled him away from the carefree spirit of his childhood. Yet, every time he felt overwhelmed, he would take the flower from the Orang Bunyan and remember that magic still existed, hidden in the world around him. Many believe that the Orang Bunyan communicate with nature in ways humans cannot comprehend. They are said to understand the language of the trees, the songs of the birds, and the whispers of the wind. Their presence is often felt rather than seen, as they move silently through the woods, watching over their domain. Some villagers claim to hear soft laughter or see glimpses of movement from the corners of their eyes, suggesting that the hidden people are always near, maintaining their watchful gaze over the forest and its inhabitants. Children are especially drawn to stories of the Orang Bunyan. They love the idea of having invisible friends who live in the woods, sharing adventures and secrets. These tales ignite their imagination, urging them to explore the wilderness with curiosity and respect. Parents often tell their children to be mindful of the Orang Bunyan, teaching them the importance of nature and the need to protect the environment. By instilling this respect for the hidden people, families strengthen their connection to the land and its mysteries. For some, the Orang Bunyan symbolize a longing for connection with the earth, a reminder of simpler times when life was intertwined with nature. In a world filled with technology and distractions, the stories of these hidden people encourage a return to the roots of human experience, where wonder and respect for the natural world reign supreme. They remind us that there is still magic to be found if we look closely and listen intently. Encounters with the Orang Bunyan are often described as surreal and transformative. Those fortunate enough to experience their presence report feelings of peace and serenity, as if time itself has stopped. People speak of returning home with a renewed sense of purpose, having learned valuable lessons from their brief interaction with the hidden people. Whether it's a reminder to be kinder, to cherish the earth, or to embrace the joy of life, the impact of these encounters lingers long after the moment has passed. As the stories of the Orang Bunyan continue to be shared, their legacy grows. They live on in the hearts and minds of those who believe in the magic of the unseen. With each retelling, new layers are added to their mythos, ensuring that the essence of the hidden people remains vibrant and alive. In this way, the Orang Bunyan become more than mere folklore. They become symbols of hope, connection, and the enduring bond between humanity and nature. The wilderness is a tapestry of stories, and the Orang Bunyan are woven into its very fabric. They remind us of the importance of listening to the earth, of respecting its gifts, and of embracing the mysteries that lie just beyond our sight. In a world that can often feel disconnected, the tales of these hidden people offer a sense of belonging, urging us to look beyond the obvious and to recognize the magic that surrounds us every day. Their presence may be invisible, but their impact is undeniably profound, leaving echoes of wonder in the hearts of those who believe. In the lush highlands of Sumatra, a unique tradition breathes life into the memories of the departed. Here, the Batak people create the Si Gale Gale, extraordinary human-like puppets that tell a powerful story of love, loss, and connection. These animated figures are not merely crafted from wood, they are imbued with spiritual significance, serving as a bridge between the living and the dead during heartfelt ceremonies. At first glance, the Si Gale Gale puppets seem like charming marionettes, crafted with intricate details and vibrant colors. Each puppet is designed to represent a specific person, often mirroring their features, attire, and even their personality. The joy of their creation is palpable, as artisans skillfully carve and paint each puppet with great care. But it is not just their appearance that captivates, it is the deeper purpose they serve in the Batak community. During funerary rites, the Si Gale Gale come to life, moving gracefully under the skillful hands of puppeteers. This performance is more than just a display, It is a poignant ritual that allows the living to honor their deceased loved ones. The puppets dance and sway, echoing the spirits of those who have passed, reminding everyone present of the vibrant life that once was. The rhythm of the music blends with the rustling of leaves, creating a serene atmosphere that envelopes the gathering like a warm embrace. As the puppets dance, tears of sorrow and joy mingle. Each movement tells a story, recounting memories that are cherished and preserved. Family members watch intently, their hearts heavy with grief yet uplifted by the beauty of the moment. The sea gale act as conduits, allowing the living to express their emotions and connect with their loved ones who have crossed over. It is a bittersweet experience, filled with both longing and celebration. One particularly touching story involves a young girl named Sari, who lost her beloved grandmother. Sari adored her grandmother, who always filled her life with stories, laughter, and love. When her grandmother passed away, Sari felt an emptiness that seemed impossible to fill. The family decided to honor her memory with a traditional ceremony, enlisting the help of skilled artisans to create a sea gale puppet that resembled her grandmother. On the day of the ceremony, Sari stood among her family, her heart aching. As the music began, the sea gale puppet, crafted to embody her grandmother's spirit, danced with grace and beauty. The puppet moved in ways that felt familiar, evoking memories of her grandmother's laughter and warmth. Tears streamed down Sari's cheeks as she felt an overwhelming presence, as if her grandmother was there, dancing alongside them, sharing in the love that had never faded. The dance of the sea gale is not only a tribute, it is also a moment of catharsis. Family members are encouraged to express their feelings, to remember the good times and the lessons learned. In this sacred space, laughter and tears coexist, allowing everyone to process their grief in a communal setting. The presence of the puppet transforms sorrow into a celebration of life, creating a tapestry of memories that binds the family together. Beyond funerary rites, the sea gale are also integral to other ceremonies within the Batak culture. They are seen in celebrations of marriage and harvest, reminding everyone of the cycle of life and the connections that endure. In these moments, the puppets serve as a reminder that while individuals may pass on, their spirits and legacies continue to live on in the hearts of those they left behind. The spiritual significance of the sea gale extends beyond the rituals themselves. They symbolize the belief that the dead are never truly gone, instead, they exist in a different form, watching over their loved ones. The puppets become a vessel for this belief, allowing families to feel a tangible connection to those who have departed. Each performance becomes an act of remembrance, an affirmation that love transcends the boundaries of life and death. As the sea gale dance their stories, they also remind the living of the importance of community. The ceremonies are a gathering of hearts, where family and friends come together to support one another in times of loss. It is in these moments that bonds are strengthened, and the community is reminded of the shared experiences that shaped their lives. Laughter rings out as stories are exchanged, and the weight of grief is lightened by the warmth of connection. In a world that often feels disconnected, the sea gale stand as a testament to the enduring power of love, memory, and tradition. They invite everyone to reflect on their own lives, to cherish the moments spent with loved ones, and to honor those who have come before. As the puppets sway to the music, they weave a narrative that transcends time, binding generations together in a beautiful tapestry of shared history. The legacy of the sea gale is one of resilience and hope. Through the lens of these puppets, the Batak people celebrate the cycle of life, acknowledging the pain of loss while also embracing the beauty of remembrance. They remind us that while life may be fleeting, the love we share and the memories we create will forever remain etched in our hearts. In the end, the sea gale serve not just as puppets of possession, but as messengers of the soul, carrying the whispers of those we have loved. Their dance is a powerful reminder that every ending is also a beginning, and that love knows no boundaries. As the final notes of music fade, the spirit of the sea gale lingers on, inviting us to hold our loved ones close, to dance with our memories, and to celebrate the beautiful journey of life. In the heart of Indonesia, where ancient temples rise from the earth like guardians of history, there lies a captivating myth of creatures that come alive from stone. These beings, known as the Pankaran, are said to emerge from statues and carvings, embodying the spirit of the land and its rich cultural heritage. Their stories are woven into the fabric of the temples, giving life to the stones that hold countless secrets and tales of the past. Imagine walking through a temple complex, surrounded by intricate stone carvings that tell stories of gods, battles, and the human experience. Each statue stands as a testament to the artistry and craftsmanship of those who came before, yet they also carry a deeper significance. According to legend, these stone figures are more than mere decorations. They are protectors, guardians that awaken when their sacred spaces are threatened. The Pankaran are said to rise from their stony slumber, animated by the prayers and hopes of the people who honor them. The myths surrounding the Pankaran reflect a profound connection between the material and spiritual worlds. It is believed that these creatures have a consciousness of their own, intimately linked to the places they inhabit. They watch over the temples, ensuring the safety and prosperity of the community. In moments of need, when danger looms or calamity strikes, the Pankaran are called upon. The faithful gather, offering prayers and rituals, invoking the strength of these ancient beings. One particular tale tells of a village that was struck by a terrible drought. The crops withered, and despair settled over the land like a heavy fog. The villagers, desperate for relief, turned to their temple, where a majestic statue of a Pankaran stood. This statue, carved with intricate details and adorned with vibrant offerings, seemed to pulse with energy, even in its stillness. The village elder led a ceremony, invoking the spirit of the Pankaran to awaken from the stone and bring forth rain. As the villagers sang and danced, their voices rose to the heavens, carrying their prayers into the sky. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered, and the first drops of rain began to fall. The people rejoiced, their hearts filled with hope. They believed it was the Pankaran who answered their call, awakening from the stone to bless them with life-giving water. The connection between the villagers and the Pankaran deepened as they recognized the powerful bond that exists between their world and the spirit realm. The Pankaran not only serve as protectors but also embody the values and beliefs of the communities they watch over. Their presence in temple architecture symbolizes strength, resilience, and the enduring spirit of the people. The intricate carvings depict not just physical forms, but also the essence of those who honor them. Each statue tells a story of sacrifice, love, and devotion, reminding everyone of the importance of their heritage. Walking through the temples, one can almost feel the weight of history pressing against them. The air is thick with whispers of the past, and the shadows dance along the stone walls. The Pankaran, in their silent vigil, seem to watch over visitors, inviting them to reflect on their place within this vast tapestry of life. The stories carved into the stone become living memories, connecting generations through shared experiences and beliefs. In a world that often feels disconnected from its roots, the myths of the Pankaran remind us of the power of tradition and the importance of honoring our ancestors. These stone creatures symbolize a timeless truth that the past is never truly gone. It lives on in the stories we tell, the rituals we perform, and the love we carry in our hearts. They invite us to pause and appreciate the beauty around us, to recognize the sacredness of the spaces we inhabit. One day, a young boy named Arif visited a temple with his family. Curious and wide-eyed, he wandered among the statues, his fingers brushing against the cool stone. As he stood before a magnificent Pankaran statue, he felt an unexplainable warmth radiate from it. He closed his eyes and imagined the creature coming to life, ready to protect him and his family. In that moment, Arif understood the stories of his ancestors, feeling the strength of their spirits flowing through him. It was as if the Pankaran had awakened within him a sense of purpose and belonging. Arif's experience is not unique. Many who visit the temples find themselves touched by the presence of the Pankaran, feeling a deep connection to something greater than themselves. The stories of these creatures foster a sense of unity among the community, reminding everyone that they are part of a larger narrative. Each generation inherits the myths, passing them down like precious heirlooms, ensuring that the Pankaran will continue to watch over them for years to come. The Pankaran are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the bonds that tie us to one another and to the past. They embody the idea that while life may be fleeting, the love and memories we share endure. In moments of hardship and celebration, they remind us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the magic that exists in the world around us. As the sun sets over the temple, casting a golden glow on the statues, one can almost hear the whispers of the Pankaran echoing through the ages. They stand sentinel, guardians of the stories and spirits of those who came before. Each carving holds a piece of history, a fragment of love, and a promise that we are never alone. The Pankaran invite us to honor our past, celebrate our present, and carry the spirit of our ancestors forward into the future. In their presence, we find solace, strength, and a deep connection to the timeless cycle of life. In the dim light of the night, when shadows stretch long and the air thickens with anticipation, the story of the Pokam comes to life. This is no ordinary tale, it is a haunting narrative that grips the heart and sends chills down the spine. The Pokam, a shrouded spirit of the deceased, is believed to rise from its grave, wrapped in its funeral shroud, and hop through the darkness, searching for peace or closure. The mere mention of the Pokam can ignite fear and fascination, revealing a deep connection between the living and the dead in Indonesian culture. Picture a small village, quiet and serene, where the sounds of crickets fill the air. In this tranquil setting, families gather, sharing stories of the past and celebrating life. Yet, as the sun dips below the horizon, tales of the Pokam start to emerge, wrapping themselves around the community like a thick fog. Whispers of the shrouded figure begin to circulate, reminding everyone of the thin veil that separates the world of the living from that of the departed. The Pokam is often depicted as a figure swathed in white, a stark contrast to the dark night. The shroud symbolizes not just death, but the connection to Islamic beliefs surrounding the afterlife. In many Muslim communities in Indonesia, proper burial rituals are essential, and the Pokam serves as a reminder of these sacred practices. When a person passes away, they are wrapped in a cloth, a final embrace that signifies their transition to the next world. However, if the rituals are not completed or if the soul feels unsettled, the spirit may return, bound by the shroud that once provided comfort. In one haunting tale, a man named Ahmad passed away unexpectedly, leaving his family in shock and grief. They performed the funeral rites according to tradition, wrapping him carefully in the shroud and laying him to rest in the ground. But as days turned into weeks, Ahmad's spirit lingered. His family felt his presence, a gentle brush against their skin, a whisper of his name in the night. They feared he was not at peace, that the shroud bound him to this world, unable to let go. One night, as the moon hung high and full, Ahmad's family gathered to pray for him. The air felt electric, charged with emotion. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. They heard a soft thumping sound outside their home. Heart-pounding, they opened the door to find the shrouded figure of Ahmad, the Pokam. He stood there, his eyes pleading, searching for closure. In that moment, they realized he had returned, not to instill fear but to seek the love and forgiveness he longed for. Ahmad's family, though terrified, embraced the spirit with tears streaming down their faces. They prayed for him, calling upon the strength of their faith to guide him home. As they chanted, the air thickened with warmth, and a soft glow surrounded Ahmad. It was as if the love from their hearts cut through the darkness, allowing him to feel the peace he craved. Slowly, he began to hop away, each bound step echoing with a sense of release, finally finding his way to the light. The Pokam embodies the deep-rooted beliefs in social and religious practices. It reminds communities of the importance of honoring their deceased, ensuring that rituals are performed with love and respect. When the living forget their responsibilities, the Pokam returns, a gentle but persistent reminder that the dead deserve to be remembered. This cycle of love, loss, and remembrance binds families together, teaching them the value of connection, even beyond the grave. In many ways, the stories of the Pokam serve as a protective barrier against grief. They remind families that their loved ones are never truly gone. Instead, they transform into spirits who linger, guiding and watching over those they left behind. The thought of the Pokam evokes a mixture of fear and solace, illustrating how death and life intertwine in the rich tapestry of Indonesian culture. The legend of the Pokam resonates deeply with the collective memory of communities, serving as a poignant reminder of mortality. In this ever-quickening world, where moments slip through fingers like sand, the tales of the Pocom remind everyone to cherish each encounter, each hug, and every heartfelt conversation. They encourage families to come together in times of loss, reinforcing the notion that love knows no boundaries, even in death. The figure of the Pocom, though often perceived with fear, ultimately represents the enduring connection between the living and the dead. It teaches the significance of completion, of saying goodbye, of honoring traditions, and of finding closure. Each time the community gathers to share stories of the Pocom, they share in the collective healing, weaving their hearts together through shared memories. In the quiet moments of night, when the wind rustles the leaves and the world sleeps, the tales of the Pocom continue to echo in the hearts of the people. They are stories of love and loss, of connection that transcends the physical world. The Pocom is not merely a ghostly figure, it is a symbol of hope, reminding everyone to honor their past while embracing the present. As the moon casts its silvery light over the land, the stories linger like a soft caress, a promise that the departed remain close, watching over those they love. The Pocom, in all its haunting beauty, serves as a reminder that every life has a story, and every story deserves to be told and remembered. In the heart of Indonesia, where shadows dance under the flickering light of the moon, a chilling tale of the Banaspati emerges, sending shivers down the spine. These are no ordinary creatures, they are fire demons, known for their fierce and supernatural powers. The legends tell of their fiery eyes and malevolent hearts, striking fear into the souls of those who dare to cross their path. Yet, behind the terror lies a deeper story of protection, tradition, and the fine line between good and evil. The Banaspati are said to roam the night, their presence signaled by the sudden rush of wind and the crackling of dry leaves underfoot. Villagers often share hushed whispers about the flickering flames that flicker in the darkness, signaling the arrival of these malevolent beings. Each tale is laced with the anxiety of what it means to encounter a Banaspati, yet there is a strange allure in the stories, drawing listeners in, compelling them to learn more. In one haunting legend, a small village nestled near the edge of a dense jungle became the target of a Banaspati's wrath. For generations, the villagers had relied on the land for sustenance, tending to their crops and living in harmony with nature. However, their prosperity caught the attention of the Banaspati, who thrived on chaos and destruction. One fateful night, under the cover of darkness, the villagers heard a terrifying roar that shook the ground beneath them. Flames burst forth from the forest, illuminating the night sky and sending the villagers into a panic. As fire consumed their crops and homes, the villagers realized they needed to act quickly. They gathered in the village square, their hearts racing with fear and desperation. A wise elder, known for her knowledge of the supernatural, spoke of a ritual that could appease the Banaspati. The villagers listened intently, knowing this might be their only chance to save their home. With trembling hands, they prepared offerings of fruit, rice, and flowers, placing them at the edge of the forest as a sign of respect. The night was thick with tension as they waited, hearts pounding, fear gripping their minds. Suddenly, the air crackled with energy, and the flames began to dance in a way that felt almost sentient. From the shadows emerged the Banaspati, a figure cloaked in fire and fury. It moved with an intensity that filled the air with heat, its eyes blazing like embers. The villagers held their breath, praying that their offerings would be enough to pacify the creature. In a moment that felt both eternal and fleeting, the Banaspati stopped before the offerings. Its gaze bore into the hearts of the villagers, and for a heartbeat, they felt the weight of its power. Yet, instead of unleashing its fury, the creature seemed to pause, as if considering the sincerity of the villagers' intentions. In that stillness, a connection formed, a recognition of the struggle for survival that defined both the villagers and the Banaspati. As the flames flickered, the villagers could see that the creature was not simply the harbinger of destruction. It was a guardian of the land, demanding respect and balance. The Banaspati's role was to remind the people of their connection to nature and the importance of living in harmony with their environment. In that moment of understanding, the villagers realized that they were not enemies, they were part of the same cycle of life. With a deafening roar, the Banaspati turned away from the offerings and retreated into the darkness, leaving the villagers shaking yet relieved. They felt the ground cool beneath their feet, the air growing still once more. The fire demon had spared their village, but they knew it was only a temporary reprieve. From that day on, the villagers honored the Banaspati, holding rituals to celebrate their connection to the land and to appease the fire demon that roamed the night. The legend of the Banaspati serves as a powerful reminder of the balance between creation and destruction. The fire demon embodies both fear and respect, reflecting the dual nature of existence. In many ways, the Banaspati represents the chaos that exists within the natural world, a force that must be acknowledged rather than ignored. The villagers learned to coexist with the Banaspati, understanding that their actions could influence the demon's behavior. As tales of the Banaspati spread across the archipelago, they became a source of fascination for many. The fire demons, once mere legends, now symbolized the unpredictable nature of life itself. They remind people that darkness and light coexist, and that true strength lies in the ability to face fears and find balance within chaos. The Banaspati's haunting presence lingers in the hearts of those who hear its stories, instilling a sense of wonder and respect for the unknown. It teaches the importance of honoring nature and the supernatural, revealing that sometimes the most fearsome beings are also protectors in disguise. Every flicker of flame and every shadow cast by the night becomes a reminder of the stories woven into the fabric of Indonesian culture. In the end, the Banaspati is more than just a fire demon. It is a symbol of the spirit of Indonesia itself, a land rich in stories, traditions, and connections. As the sun sets and darkness envelopes the landscape, the legends of the Banaspati continue to flicker in the hearts and minds of the people, a timeless reminder of the thin line between fear and respect, chaos and harmony. The stories endure, echoing through the ages, lighting the path for those who dare to listen. In the heart of Sulawesi, a chilling legend whispers through the trees and lingers in the shadows, a story passed down through generations. The Dano-Dano are feared spirits, known for their malevolent nature and their connection to the graveyards where they dwell. These entities embody misfortune, weaving a thread of dread into the fabric of daily life, reminding everyone that death is not the end, but a bridge to an unknown realm filled with danger and darkness. Picture a quiet evening, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and purple, casting long shadows over the landscape. As night falls, the air thickens with an uneasy silence. This is the time when stories of the Dano-Dano begin to surface, told in hushed tones by the flickering light of candles. In small villages, the fear of these spirits binds communities together as they share tales of their malevolence and the consequences of crossing their paths. The Dano-Dano are said to roam graveyards, lingering near the resting places of the deceased. It is believed that these spirits are the souls of those who lived troubled lives or faced untimely deaths. The sadness and anger from their unfinished business in the mortal world transform them into vengeful spirits. They seek retribution against the living, ready to unleash misfortune upon anyone who dares to disrespect the sanctity of death. Many villagers recount stories of loved ones who fell ill or experienced a string of bad luck after inadvertently disturbing the grave of a Dano-Dano. A haunting tale tells of a young man named Rudy who lived in a village near an ancient graveyard. Curious and brave, Rudy often ventured into the graveyard, drawn by the stories of the spirits that resided there. One fateful evening, while exploring the crumbling tombstones, he stumbled upon a particularly neglected grave. Ignoring the warnings of his elders, he knelt down to clean the overgrown weeds, thinking he could bring peace to the long-forgotten spirit. As soon as he touched the earth, a chill swept through the air. Shadows flickered in the corners of his vision, and an oppressive silence settled around him. Rudy felt an unexplainable heaviness in his heart, but he brushed it off, thinking it was just his imagination. Yet, deep down, a voice whispered to him that he had crossed a line he should never have crossed. From that day on, Rudy's life changed dramatically. He began to experience a string of misfortunes. His crops failed, his livestock fell ill, and the warmth of friendship faded as his neighbors grew wary of his bad luck. The village elders noticed the shift and quickly pieced together the tale of his encounter with the grave. They gathered to perform a cleansing ritual, calling upon their shaman to appease the Dano-Dano. With sacred herbs, chants, and offerings, they aimed to soothe the spirits and lift the curse that hung over Rudy's head. The shaman, a wise old woman with deep knowledge of the spirit world, led the villagers in a ritual that echoed through the night. As they sang and danced around a flickering fire, Rudy felt a sense of hope rekindle within him. The smell of burning incense filled the air, and the rhythmic beat of drums began to drown out his fears. Yet, as the ceremony progressed, he felt the presence of the Dano watching him, their cold eyes piercing through the darkness. During the ritual, the shaman entered a trance, communicating with the spirits in a language only they could understand. She pleaded for forgiveness on behalf of Rudy, seeking mercy from the Dano. The air crackled with energy, and a gust of wind swept through the clearing, almost as if the spirits themselves were responding. Rudy held his breath, praying for a second chance, praying that the spirits would allow him to mend what he had disturbed. After what felt like an eternity, the shaman emerged from her trance, her face a mix of exhaustion and relief. She explained that the Dano had accepted the villagers' offerings but required Rudy to perform a personal act of repentance. He needed to return to the graveyard, not to clean, but to honor the spirit. With a heavy heart, he agreed, knowing that this would be his path to redemption. The following evening, Rudy returned to the graveyard. This time, he brought fresh flowers, a simple meal, and his apologies. Kneeling before the neglected grave, he laid the offerings gently on the ground, tears brimming in his eyes. He spoke softly, expressing his sorrow for his thoughtless actions and promising to remember the dignity of those who had passed. As he whispered his apologies, the air shifted. A warm breeze brushed past him, as if the spirit had heard his words. In that moment, Rudy felt a sense of peace wash over him, the weight of fear beginning to lift. It was as if the Dano had acknowledged his sincerity, allowing him a glimpse of hope amidst the shadows. Days turned into weeks, and slowly but surely, Rudy's luck began to change. His crops flourished, the bonds of friendship rekindled, and the villagers started to smile at him once more. The curse had been lifted, not just through the rituals of the shaman, but through his own humility and respect for the spirits that inhabit the graveyard. The legend of the Dano serves as a powerful reminder of the respect that must be given to the dead and the understanding that life and death are intertwined. The spirits may bring misfortune, but they also teach valuable lessons about humility, responsibility, and the importance of honoring those who have come before us. In the shadows of the graveyards, the Dano linger, their stories echoing in the hearts of those who dare to listen, reminding us that our actions carry weight in the realm of the living and the dead. In the dim light of a flickering candle, a story unfolds, one that sends chills down the spine and makes the heart race. The Jurankong, a skeletal figure feared in Sundanese folklore, is not just a tale of horror, it is a haunting reminder of life, death, and the thin veil that separates them. In the villages of West Java, the Jurankong symbolizes the inevitable fate that awaits every living being, bringing with it a deep sense of respect for the cycle of life and the afterlife. Picture a moonlit night, the shadows of trees stretching long across the ground, whispering secrets that only the brave dare to hear. In the quiet of the evening, children gather around their elders, their eyes wide with wonder and fear as they listen to tales of the Jurankong. These stories are not merely told to frighten, they serve as lessons, teaching young ones about the importance of honoring the dead and understanding the weight of their own existence. The Jurankong is depicted as a thin, bony figure, a reminder of mortality and the inevitability of death. Legends say it roams the dark corners of the night, searching for those who have lost their way. Its presence is felt in the rustling of leaves and the soft whispers of the wind. Villagers believe that the Jurankong comes to collect souls, guiding them to the afterlife. However, it is also a figure that invokes fear, especially among those who live without regard for the dead. In a small Sundanese village, there lived a young woman named Sari. She was vibrant and full of life, always laughing and dancing with her friends. Yet, Sari had little respect for the traditions of her ancestors. She often mocked the old stories of the Jurankong, believing them to be mere folklore meant to scare children. Her laughter rang through the village, but little did she know, it would soon turn into a haunting echo. One fateful night, during a celebration, Sari and her friends ventured to a nearby graveyard, daring each other to spend the night among the tombstones. With a mixture of bravado and giggles, they made their way through the grave markers, each step sending shivers down their spines. Sari, feeling invincible, began to challenge the spirits, calling out to the Jarankong, taunting it to show itself. As the night deepened, a thick fog rolled in, shrouding the graveyard in an eerie silence. The laughter of Sari and her friends faded, replaced by an unsettling feeling. Suddenly, a chill ran through the air, and the ground seemed to tremble beneath their feet. Shadows danced in the fog, and a skeletal figure emerged, its hollow eyes piercing through the darkness. The Jarankong had answered her call. Panic set in as the friends turned to flee, but the Jarankong moved with a speed that defied its skeletal form. Sari felt a cold breath against her neck, freezing her in place. The figure raised a bony hand, pointing directly at her, as if judging her disrespect for the dead. In that moment, the laughter that once echoed in the graveyard was replaced by a deafening silence. Sari's heart raced, and the reality of her foolishness hit her hard. As the Jarankong drew closer, Sari's bravado melted away. She realized that this was not just a figure from folklore, it was a reminder of the life she had taken for granted. It represented the souls of those who had passed, the stories left untold, and the respect owed to the deceased. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face as she begged for forgiveness, not just from the Jarankong, but from the ancestors she had mocked. The skeletal figure stood still, watching her. For a brief moment, the air was thick with tension, as if the very essence of the night held its breath. Slowly, the Jarankong lowered its hand and turned away, disappearing into the fog. Sari's heart felt lighter, as though the weight of her disrespect had been lifted, but she knew she had to change her ways. The experience had taught her a lesson she would carry for life. In the days that followed, Sari shared her story with the village, no longer laughing at the tales of the Jarankong but honoring them instead. She began participating in rituals to pay respects to the ancestors, helping her community remember those who had passed. The villagers, once wary of her, embraced her transformation. They recognized that fear can lead to understanding, and understanding can lead to respect. The legend of the Jarankong serves as a powerful reminder of the bond between the living and the dead. It emphasizes the importance of acknowledging the past and respecting the cycle of life. The stories told by the elders are not merely tales of horror, they are lessons woven into the fabric of culture, teaching the younger generations about humility, reverence, and the delicate balance between life and death. As the moonlight bathes the village in a soft glow, the whispers of the Jarankong continue to echo through the trees. The people of Sundanese folklore carry the weight of their stories, knowing that each tale is a thread in the rich tapestry of their history. The Jarankong, once feared, has transformed into a symbol of wisdom, urging them to remember, respect, and honor those who came before. In the quiet moments, when the world seems to hold its breath, they listen for the whispers of the past, guided by the skeletal figure that roams the night, a reminder that life is precious, and death, while inevitable, is not to be feared but respected. In a quiet corner of a small village, shadows stretch long into the night, whispering tales of a demon known as the Seaton Budig, the deaf demon. It is not a creature of mere fright, but a haunting reminder of isolation and neglect that sends chills down the spine. Many have heard the stories, passed down through generations, each one filled with a warning that reverberates like the echoes of a distant cry for help. The Seaton Budig is said to be an entity that walks among the living, a figure hidden in the folds of darkness. What makes this demon particularly terrifying is its chilling indifference. It is known for its refusal to hear the cries of those in distress, ignoring pleas for help as it drifts through the alleys and quiet streets of the village. People fear it not just for its terrifying presence, but for what it represents, the isolation that so many feel in their everyday lives. Picture a child wandering through the village, lost in thought. Perhaps she is reflecting on her day at school, where her laughter is drowned out by the noise of others. Her voice, though full of life, seems to vanish into thin air. This girl, like many others, might find herself trapped in her own world, feeling invisible, unheard, and alone. The stories of the Seaton Budig serve as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability that comes with isolation. Legend has it that the demon lingers where neglect resides, finding solace in the spaces between the cries that go unheard. It preys on the lonely, drawing them deeper into despair. Those who encounter the Seton Budig often feel a shroud of silence wrap around them, a heaviness that pushes down on their hearts. In this oppressive quiet, the demon's indifference amplifies their feelings of loneliness, making it impossible to escape the cycle of neglect. In one village, there lived a young man named Rurmith. He was gentle and kind, always looking out for others, yet he struggled to find his place. He felt the weight of his own silence, trapped in a world where his voice seemed to be lost. Friends would come and go, laughter would echo through the streets, but Rurmith remained in the background, yearning to connect. The more he reached out, the more isolated he felt. It was as if the Seton Budig was wrapping him in an invisible shroud, blinding others to his pain. One evening, after another day of feeling unheard, Rurmith found himself wandering through the village. The sun had set, and darkness enveloped him like a thick fog. He began to hear whispers, soft and beckoning, drawing him toward the edge of the forest. Curiosity mingled with fear as he followed the sound, his heart pounding with uncertainty. As he ventured deeper, the whispers faded, replaced by an eerie silence that made the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. Suddenly, the stillness was broken by a rustle in the underbrush, and before him appeared the Seton Budig. Its form was vague, almost shapeless, cloaked in shadows that seemed to absorb all light. The demon stood silently, an embodiment of the isolation Rurmith felt within himself. It looked into his eyes with a coldness that pierced through his soul. In that moment, he understood that this entity was not merely a figment of folklore, it was a reflection of his own despair. Rurmith opened his mouth to plead for help, but the words caught in his throat. It was as if the demon's presence had stolen his voice, just as he felt the world had stolen his ability to connect. The Seton Budig remained unmoved, a chilling reminder that sometimes, even when cries for help are voiced, they may go unheard. In that harrowing moment, the weight of neglect pressed heavily on Rurmith's heart. He realized that he had allowed his isolation to define him, to trap him in a cycle of despair. The Seton Budig thrived on this very silence, feeding on the neglect that so many experienced. Yet, deep within, a flicker of courage ignited. If he could face the embodiment of his fears, perhaps he could change his story. With newfound determination, Rurmith turned away from the Seton Budig. As he did, the oppressive darkness began to lift, the weight of isolation easing from his shoulders. He made his way back to the village, no longer willing to let fear dictate his life. He reached out to friends, shared his struggles, and slowly began to weave himself back into the fabric of the community. The more he connected, the more he realized the importance of being heard and of hearing others. Rurmith learned that every voice matters, and that sometimes, the loudest cries for help come from those who seem the most silent. He became an advocate for those who felt unseen, working tirelessly to ensure that no one else in his village would have to face the darkness alone. As time passed, the legend of the Seton Budig transformed. It remained a cautionary tale, a reminder of the consequences of neglect, but it also became a symbol of hope. People in the village learned to listen more closely, to seek out those who seemed distant, and to ensure that no one was left to walk the shadows alone. The darkness still lurked, but together, they could shine a light that kept the Seton Budig at bay. In the quiet moments of reflection, villagers would share stories of Rurmith's bravery, inspiring others to confront their own fears and reach out for help. They learned that isolation could be broken, that the bonds of community could drown out even the deafening silence of the Seton Budig. As the night falls over the village once again, the stories of the Seton Budig continue to echo through the hearts of its people, reminding them of the power of connection. They understand now that while the demon may embody neglect, their compassion and unity can create a force strong enough to overcome even the darkest shadows. In the heart of Indonesia, the air is thick with stories of mythical creatures that have transcended time and space, weaving themselves into the very fabric of society. These creatures, once born of folklore and tradition, now dance vibrantly in modern culture, leaving an indelible mark on the identity of the Indonesian people. As the sun sets over lush rice paddies and bustling cities, the shadows of these mythical beings come alive, reminding everyone of their rich heritage and the profound influence these stories continue to hold. Imagine walking through a vibrant market during a festival. The sounds of laughter and music fill the air as families come together to celebrate their culture. Colorful decorations adorn every stall, with illustrations of beloved mythical creatures like the Garuda and the Barong. These figures are not just relics of the past, they are symbols of pride, resilience, and unity, echoing the stories of ancestors who faced challenges with courage. Each character carries a tale, and as people engage with them, they are reminded of their roots and the values that shaped their lives. In every corner of Indonesia, festivals burst forth like flowers in bloom. Each celebration is a grand stage where mythical creatures take center stage, captivating the hearts of those who gather. Traditional dances bring to life the legends of the Rangda and Barong, showcasing the eternal battle between good and evil. Audiences sit mesmerized, eyes wide with wonder, as they witness the intricate movements that tell stories older than time itself. In these moments, the past and present intertwine, fostering a sense of belonging and continuity that resonates deeply within each person. Yet, these mythical beings do not merely dwell in the pages of ancient texts, they thrive in the modern media landscape, transforming into icons that inspire a new generation. Movies, animated series, and video games have breathed fresh life into these tales, allowing younger audiences to connect with their heritage in innovative ways. Children excitedly dress as their favorite mythical heroes, reenacting epic battles in their backyards, transforming the stories into living, breathing experiences. This reimagining of folklore in contemporary storytelling bridges the gap between generations, ensuring that the legends are never forgotten. Tourism also plays a vital role in keeping these myths alive. As visitors flock to Indonesia's beautiful landscapes, they seek not just scenic views, but the rich stories that define the islands. Temples adorned with intricate carvings of mythical creatures stand as testaments to a culture that honors its past. Local guides share tales of the Kudalumping, a spirit horse that comes alive during performances, captivating tourists and igniting their imaginations. Each story shared enhances the experience, allowing travelers to feel the heartbeat of the culture, the pulse of a society rooted in myth. The power of these creatures lies not only in their stories, but in their ability to evoke emotions. They resonate with feelings of hope, fear, love, and loss, creating connections that span across ages. When people hear tales of the Naga, the serpent that represents both creation and destruction, they feel a sense of reverence and respect for the forces of nature. The legends encapsulate the duality of existence, reminding individuals of their own struggles and triumphs. In this way, the creatures of myth offer solace, guiding people through life's uncertainties. The presence of these mythical beings also instills a sense of community among the Indonesian people. Festivals become a celebration of shared identity, a gathering that unites individuals from diverse backgrounds. As families come together to participate in rituals and performances, they strengthen their bonds, reinforcing the idea that they are part of something greater than themselves. The mythical creatures serve as a focal point, drawing people together in joyous celebration and collective memory. In modern Indonesia, the influence of these mythical creatures is a tapestry woven into the national identity. The stories are not merely entertainment, they are a foundation upon which cultural values are built. Concepts of bravery, loyalty, and compassion are intricately linked to the characters in these tales, shaping the moral compass of the society. As children hear these stories from their elders, they absorb the lessons within, nurturing a generation that respects their roots while forging their paths. The enduring legacy of these mythical beings extends beyond Indonesia's borders. Internationally, they capture the imagination of those who encounter them through literature and art. The striking visuals of mythical creatures inspire artists, filmmakers, and writers, transforming ancient tales into universal stories that resonate with people worldwide. The Garuda, symbolizing freedom and strength, has found its way into logos and branding, becoming a powerful emblem that speaks to the spirit of Indonesia. As night falls and the stars twinkle overhead, the whispers of mythical creatures linger in the breeze, a reminder that they are not confined to the past. They are alive in the hearts and minds of the Indonesian people, shaping their identity and infusing life with meaning. From the celebrations in the streets to the stories shared around family gatherings, the influence of these creatures is a testament to the rich cultural heritage that continues to thrive. In every dance, every tale, and every celebration, the spirits of the mythical beings echo through the ages, connecting past to present, reminding everyone that they are part of a larger story. As long as there are stories to tell, as long as there are hearts willing to listen, the enduring influence of these mythical creatures will remain a vibrant thread in the beautiful tapestry of Indonesian life. The laughter of children, the pride in shared heritage, and the bond of community reflect the deep-rooted significance of these tales, ensuring that they continue to inspire, uplift, and bring joy for generations to come.